Douluo, I am the ice archer, my ice power is invincible. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author, we do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176 Lu Gao must die. Xiao Han knew why the Douluo Empire had stationed a large number of troops in Jiangxin City. He calmly said to Jin Ringsu, Jiangxin City is the capital of metal and the city with the most blacksmiths in the entire Douluo continent. The reason why the Douluo Empire send a large number of troops there is probably to forge hidden weapons with great lethality. Hidden weapons? Xiao Han nodded and continued, if I'm not mistaken, this matter is related to Tang. As far as I know, there are three great master craftsmen on the Douluo continent, Tang Hao, Tai Tan, the patriarch of the Power Clan, and Lu Gao from Jiangxin City. Lu Gao is the president of the Blacksmith Association, who is based in Jiangxin City and controls a large amount of rare metal resources. Tang is good at designing all kinds of hidden weapons with great lethality, and those hidden weapons have high requirements for materials. Whether it is resources or the manufacture of hidden weapons, Lu Gao can provide help to Tang. After listening to Xiao Han's analysis, Jin Ringsu frowned, with murderous eyes. She knew that Tang was good at designing all kinds of hidden weapons. This huge divine crossbow used by the disciples of the Seven Treasures glazed tile sect was designed by Tang and made by the Power Clan. After Bibi learned about this, she exterminated the Power Clan. But Tang was not discouraged. After arriving in the Douluo Empire, he not only had more abundant metal resources, but also had better conditions for making hidden weapons. Jin Ringsu also knew that those hidden weapons had great lethality, which could not only threaten the lives of ordinary soldiers, but also the lives of low-level spirit masters. If those hidden weapons were mass-produced and used to arm the army of the Douluo Empire, it would undoubtedly greatly enhance their combat effectiveness. This was something Jin Ringsu could not tolerate. You are so good, Tang, you still don't give up. Two of the three great craftsmen on the Douluo continent are gone, and the remaining one, Lu Gao, must die? That's right, Lu Gao must die. Xiao Han knew that with Lu Gao's ability, he could develop the three peerless hidden weapons of the Tang sect for Tang, the Peacock Feather, the Buddha's Wrath Tang Lotus, and the Torrential Pear Blossom Needle. The three hidden weapons are extremely lethal and can even kill titled Douluo level masters. Any of them that appear in the world is a huge threat to spirit masters. Therefore, Tang's plan must not be allowed to succeed, and Lu Gao must be killed. Jin Ringsu asked, since you already know their plan, what do you think? I'll go to Jiangxin City and kill Lu Gao. If I meet Tang, kill him too. Jin Ringsu thought about it. Since they attach so much importance to this matter, it should not be as simple as stationing heavy troops. There may be many expert spirit masters guarding the city. I'll arrange someone to go with you. No, I'll go alone. It's more convenient for me to act alone. Too many people will alert the enemy, but that is the territory of the Douluo Empire after all, and they must have taken precautions. I'm afraid of you, although Xiao Han is very powerful. Jin Ringsu is still a little worried. Xiao Han said confidently, don't worry, nothing will happen. Even if I run into the elders of Haoshan sect or Tang Xiao, I am not afraid. Well, be careful. Evacuating time if the situation is not right, and focus on your own safety. I don't want you to get into trouble. Jin Ringsu's cheeks were slightly red as she spoke. Xiao Han smiled and nodded. I understand. The next day, Xiao Han set off for Jiangxin City. Jiangxin City is one of the main cities of Douluo Empire. It is not a famous city in the southwest. In Douluo continent, the status of blacksmiths is the same as that of civilians. Therefore, even as the capital of metal, Jiangxin City is not taken seriously. Because of the plan to mass-produce hidden weapons, Douluo Emperor regarded it as a key protected city and sent a large number of soldiers and soul masters to garrison it. More than half a month later, Xiao Han arrived outside Jiangxin City. Now is an extraordinary period, and the entire Jiangxin City is on high alert. The guards at the city gate will conduct strict inspections on every passerby to prevent suspicious people from sneaking into the city. However, this method is meaningless to Xiao Han. Xiao Han fell directly from the sky into a hidden corner of the city. In order to avoid attracting too much attention, he disguised himself as an ordinary person and walked on the street. A strong metallic smell hid him. Jiangxin City is the city with the most blacksmith shops, with thousands of blacksmith shops and tens of thousands of blacksmiths. Fortunately, the area of the city is not large, and it is not difficult to find a place to work in a tall building. Xiao Han walked towards the center of the city and saw a tall building from a distance. This building covers a large area and is at least 30 meters high. The overall style is very similar to the Fighting Spirit Arena. But it does not have the gorgeous decorations of the Fighting Spirit Arena, and it looks very rough. Directly above it, a dark iron plaque is hung. There is no text on the iron plaque, only two patterns of a hammer and a chisel. Xiao Han knew that this was the location of the Blacksmith Association. Densely packed soldiers surrounded it. They held spears and watched the surroundings vigilantly, not letting any strangers approach. Only one of the three gates was opened, and occasionally someone went in and out. Obviously, this place has been completely requisitioned by the army of Xingluo Empire. The Blacksmith Association is divided into 5 floors. The first floor is the ordinary trading area. The second floor is the advanced trading area. The third floor is the blacksmith registration assessment area. The fourth floor is the VIP area, where some particularly precious and rare castings will be auctioned. The fifth floor is the office area of the Blacksmith Association, which is also Lu Gao's work area. After this place was requisitioned, all transactions were temporarily stopped, and only hidden weapons were made. The previous trading area was all changed to the casting area, and the noise inside could be clearly heard. Xiao Han knew that it would not be easy to rush in and find Lu Gao, because there was more than one person working in the office area on the 5th floor. There were dozens of separate casting rooms on it, each of which was made of special materials and was indestructible. Moreover, the entrance to the 5th floor was also specially designed with complex mechanisms, which ordinary people could not open at all. Therefore, rushing in rashly would only alert the snake. What Xiao Han could do now was to wait patiently for Lu Gao to come downstairs. As long as he saw Lu Gao, Xiao Han would be sure to kill him. Although Xiao Han had not seen Lu Gao, he knew that he was a fat man about 1.6 meters tall, with protruding ears and small eyes. Such obvious features can be recognized at a glance. Xiao Han observed in the building opposite the Blacksmith Association for dozens of days, but did not see Lu Gao walk out of the door. Hard work pays off. Finally, on a dark night, a short and fat old man walked out of the half-open door. Xiao Han recognized it at a glance. It was Lu Gao. Next to Lu Gao stood a white-haired old man, who seemed to be protecting Lu Gao. Xiao Han took a closer look and was surprised. He had seen the white-haired old man before. It was the 4th elder of the Haoshan sect who appeared in the Xiandao Palace incident. Chapter 177, Killing Spree. Lu Gao worked for dozens of days in a row, and he ate and slept in the foundry during this period. He planned to go home tonight, and the 4th elder specially escorted him to ensure his safety. Tang San once explained that any blacksmith in Jiangxin City could get into trouble, except Lu Gao. Because only the master craftsman Lu Gao could make the most lethal hidden weapons of the Tang sect. If Lu Gao got into trouble, their plan would be ruined. Lu Gao and the 4th elder left the Blacksmith Association. Xiao Han restrained his breath, and his figure was like a shadow, quietly following behind the two of them, shuttling through the dim streets of Jiangxin City. Jiangxin City was already on alert, and now it was night, so there were even fewer people on the street. When they reached a remote corner of the street, Xiao Han suddenly accelerated, and his figure flashed, and he appeared in front of the two people, blocking their way. The 4th elder's eyes fixed, and when he saw the face of the person coming clearly, his face turned pale in an instant, and his fear was beyond words. "It's you." The 4th elder had witnessed the 7th elder being killed by Xiao Han during the Xiandao Palace incident, and knew how powerful Xiao Han was. He smelled a hint of danger, and it seemed that Xiao Han was deliberately coming for Lu Gao. Without any hesitation, the 4th elder quickly released his clear sky hammer spirit, and 9 spirit rings surrounded his body, shining with light, ready to welcome the upcoming battle. Seeing this scene, Lu Gao was shocked. He didn't expect that the 4th elder at the title Douluo level would be so cautious in front of a young spirit master. President Lu Gao, this person is Xiao Han from the Spirit Empire. He is ruthless and powerful. It seems that he is not here for good, the 4th elder hurriedly introduced to Lu Gao, revealing an unconcealable nervousness in his tone. Lu Gao was shocked when he heard this. He had heard of Xiao Han's name a long time ago, and knew that this person had stirred up the situation in the Douluo continent and had done many things that shocked the world. Davis, the eldest prince of the Xingluo Empire, was killed by this person. Not daring to be careless, Lu Gao quickly took out a whistling arrow from his arms, aimed it at the night sky, and released it. The sharp sound broke the tranquility of the night sky. It was a warning to the disciples and a signal to summon reinforcements. At the same time, he was not to be outdone and released the diamond chisel martial spirit. The 7 spirit rings lit up in sequence: yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 demonstrating his powerful strength as a top blacksmith and spirit master. The 4th elder said coldly, "Xiao Han, what are you doing in Jiangxin City? Where are your accomplices?" Facing the two people's strict defense, Xiao Han seemed particularly calm, with a faint smile on his lips. "I came to Jiangxin City to stop you from making hidden weapons. Where is the little punk? Is he hiding like a turtle again? I'm sorry to disappoint you, Tang-san is not in Jiangxin City." While the 4th elder was speaking, he looked around vigilantly, worried that Xiao Han had other accomplices. Xiao Han said coldly, "It's a pity that the little jerk escaped again this time. However, you two can't run away, humph. You dare to be so arrogant just by yourself. You don't take me, Lu Gao, seriously." As soon as Lu Gao finished speaking, figures suddenly jumped out from all directions. In the blink of an eye, dozens of soul masters surrounded Xiao Han. Xiao Han could feel that there were many soul saints among them. Another group of people who want to die? Well, then I will fulfill your wish. After Xiao Han finished speaking, the aura around him suddenly changed, and a powerful soul power fluctuation spread instantly, causing the temperature on the street to drop a few degrees. The Xianbing bow and arrow martial spirit suddenly appeared in his hand, with a faint blue light flowing on it, as if it could freeze everything in the world. Soul rings emerged one by one. Purple, purple, black, 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 red, red. The terrifying configuration made the surrounding air condense. How is this possible? A soul master shouted in horror. When have they ever seen such an amazing spirit ring configuration? The first spirit ring is at the 1,000-year level, and the third spirit ring has reached the 10,000-year level. What is even more terrifying is the 200,000-year spirit rings that are glowing with red light, emitting a heart-pounding aura. The 4th elder's heart sank. He knew that even if the opponent was only Xiao Han, they would not be able to escape. "Protect President Lu Gao, President Lu Gao, go. I'll hold him back." Before the voice fell, the 4th elder's figure had already expanded. The real body of the clear sky hammer appeared, and it smashed towards Xiao Han with its tsunami-like momentum, trying to use this thunderous blow to buy Lu Gao a chance to escape. However, Xiao Han just smiled lightly. His left arm spirit bone suddenly burst into dazzling light, and an extremely cold air instantly spread, freezing all opponents within 100 meters, including the 4th elder and Lu Gao, in ice. The ice was crystal clear, but indestructible, as if even time was frozen by it. The 4th elder roared. With his powerful soul power and the incomparable power of the clear sky hammer, he managed to break free from the ice. But at the moment he broke through the ice, a high explosive arrow flashing with cold light pierced through the night sky and directly penetrated his chest. Boom! With a loud bang, the body of the 4th elder was torn apart by the huge explosive force and turned into a blood mist all over the sky. Another titled Douluo level elder of the clear sky sect fell. Lu Gao's struggle in the ice was even more intense. After all, he was a top blacksmith, and his understanding and use of power far exceeded that of ordinary people. After a violent tremor, he also broke free from the shackles of the ice. But the scene in front of him made him feel dead. The miserable condition of the 4th elder deeply shocked him. He realized how terrifying the strength of the young soul master in front of him was. No. I must not die here. Lu Gao had only one thought in his mind. If he died, no one would be able to develop those top-level hidden weapons with huge lethality for Tang-san and the Empire. So, he must survive. Lu Gao turned around without hesitation and ran away at the fastest speed. But how could Xiao Han let him go so easily? Xiao Han's 8th soul ring and right leg soul bone lit up at the same time. An ice arrow with tracking and locking capabilities shot out instantly. The ice arrow was like the coldest starlight in the night sky. It caught up with Lu Gao at an incredible speed, penetrated his body, and nailed him to the ground. Lu Gao's eyes were full of unwillingness and despair. He didn't expect that he would end up like this after devoting his life to forging. Lu Gao's life fire was quickly extinguished by the penetration of the ice arrow. A generation of master craftsmen fell. After dealing with Lu Gao, Xiao Han turned his eyes to the remaining soul masters. They had not yet broken through the shackles of ice, and their faces were full of fear. With the red light of the seventh soul ring blooming, Xiao Han released the soul of the weapon. 10,000 arrows were fired at the same time. In an instant, countless ice arrows poured down like raindrops. Those soul masters were panicked. But under this impenetrable rain of arrows, all struggle seemed so pale and powerless. In the blink of an eye, the streets were already a mess and cold corpses. Chapter 178. Let's start the war. Xiao Han stood alone in the middle of the street, surrounded by a faint chill, like a ruthless ice sculpture. All around him were corpses lying in all directions. The air was filled with a strong smell of blood and despair. The movement in the distance gradually approached. It was the soul masters and soldiers who heard the news. They came in a surging manner. But after seeing the scene in front of them, they all gasped, stopped, and dared not move forward. Xiao Han slowly turned around, his eyes like knives, sweeping over the people present. Then he said coldly, "The 4 elders of the Haoshan sect and the master craftsman Lu Gao have been killed by me. If anyone dares to make hidden weapons for Tang San again, this will be the end." Xiao Han's voice was not loud, but it was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears, like ice piercing the bones, making people feel cold. Those soul masters and soldiers stood there in a daze. They saw Xiao Han's strength and cruelty with their own eyes today, and no one wanted to be the next figure lying in a pool of blood. In the end, they could only watch Xiao Han's back gradually disappear into the night, leaving behind a dead silence and fear. Xiao Han did not leave Jingxin City immediately, but came to the towering building of the Blacksmith Association. This building, which was once the hard work of Lu Gao, was now nothing more than a pile of rubble that was about to turn into ruins in his eyes. He stepped into the hall, and wherever he looked, he saw all kinds of semi-finished hidden weapons and sophisticated casting equipment. Without any hesitation, Xiao Han urged his soul power, and his Henbing bow and arrow martial soul appeared again, and the blue light reflected on his cold face. One after another, ice arrows shot out like a meteor shower, accurately hitting those semi-finished hidden weapons and those sophisticated casting facilities. Wherever the ice arrows passed, loud noises broke out, destroying those equipment and semi-finished products. After doing all this, Xiao Han turned around and left, leaving a mess. The Blacksmith Association, the pride of Jingxin City, will no longer exist. The news that the master craftsman Lu Gao was killed and the Blacksmith Association was destroyed quickly spread from Jingxin City to Xingluo City. Tang San held an urgent report tightly in his hand, his face as pale as paper. When he read the news that Lu Gao and the 4th elder had died, his heart suddenly shook and he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. "Xiao Han, why is it you again?" Tang San's heart was filled with anger and unwillingness. Lu Gao was not only their friend, but also a key figure in the Tang sect's hidden weapon plan. And the 4th elder was the backbone of the Haoshan sect. Their sacrifice was undoubtedly a heavy blow to Tang San and the Haoshan sect. After hearing the news, Tang Xiao was also very angry. In just a few months, Tang Hao, the 7th elder and the 4th elder all died at the hands of Xiao Han, which made him unbearable. "Xiao Han, you bastard!" Tang Xiao's voice was low and powerful, and every word seemed to be squeezed out from between his teeth, containing endless anger and grief. "Uncle, Xiao Han is a ruthless and extremely powerful person. If we don't get rid of him as soon as possible, I'm afraid that our Haoshan sect will never have peace in the future." Tang Xiao took a deep breath and tried to calm his anger. "Xiao-san, you are right. We can't passively take a beating. But Xiao Han's whereabouts are uncertain. He is more often in Wudi City. How easy is it to get rid of him?" Tang San certainly understood this. There are probably not many people in this world who can be Xiao Han's opponent. He fell at Xiao Han's feet again and again. Even if he was unwilling, he could only be furious. Tang Xiao turned his eyes to the window. The tall buildings in the distance were looming in the clouds, but his mind was clear. "Brother Hao, 7th elder, 4th elder, Haoshan sect will definitely avenge you. Xiao Han, you wait, Tang Xiao, swear to tear you into pieces to comfort the spirits of the heroic spirits of our Haoshan sect in heaven." The fall of Lu Gao and the destruction of the Blacksmith Association were also a huge blow to the Xingluo royal family. The atmosphere in the palace of the Xingluo Empire was so solemn that water could almost freeze. The Xingluo Emperor sat on the dragon throne, his hands clenched into fists, blue veins faintly visible under his skin, and his eyes burned with rage. In the hall, all the ministers were silent, and no one dared to make a sound. Xiao Han. You, a demon, dared to be so reckless and deliberately ran to Xingluo to kill people. The Xingluo Emperor's voice was low and hoarse, with uncontrollable anger. Before this, the eldest Prince Davis and 2 loyal-souled Douluo-level guardians had all fallen at the hands of Xiao Han. Damn Xiao Han, you are challenging the bottom line of the empire. You destroyed my royal family and harmed my people. I will not be a human being if I don't avenge this. The Xingluo Emperor took a deep breath and tried to make his voice sound calmer. Pass the order. From now on, the Xingluo Empire will enter a wartime state. All armies are ready to go, and the Soul Master Corps is ready to go at any time. I want to let them know that our Xingluo Empire is not a lamb to be slaughtered. Xingluo Emperor knew that the war between him and the Wuhan Empire would break out sooner or later. Instead of waiting to die, it is better to take the initiative to fight. Even if we are defeated by the Wuhan Empire in the end, we must fight to the death. Xiao Han returned to Wudi City. Jin Ringsu greeted him warmly. Xiao Han, you are back. Jin Ringsu's voice was gentle and with a hint of imperceptible excitement. Her eyes stayed on Xiao Han, wanting to see if Xiao Han was injured. Xiao Han joked, what are you worried about? Will I be hurt by those trash again? Jin Ringsu smiled slightly. This plan went more smoothly than I thought. You did a great job. Lu Gao is dead, and the Blacksmith Association was destroyed by you. Those top-level hidden weapons can no longer be developed. Tang San's dream seems to be shattered. The little punk is not so easy to be defeated. He will not give up easily. Although the top-level hidden weapons cannot be made, he can still mass-produce ordinary hidden weapons such as the huge divine crossbow. According to what you said, that Tang San is really a headache. Xiao Han sighed lightly. It's a pity that I didn't meet him in Jiangxin City this time, otherwise I would have dealt with him as well. Don't worry, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future. This incident has dealt a heavy blow to the Xingluo Empire. I received a secret report that the Emperor of Xingluo has issued an order to prepare for war at any time. Then let's fight. It will happen sooner or later anyway. The strength of the Spirit Hall is so strong that it will definitely take down the Xingluo Empire. Jin Ringsu nodded slightly. Okay, then we should also prepare ourselves and strive to take down the Xingluo Empire as soon as possible, Jin Ringsu said in a firm tone. She had already had an idea about starting a war. The news that both countries were preparing for war soon reached Bibi Dong's ears. In the empty and cold Pope's palace, Bibi Dong sat alone on the high Pope's chair with an evil smile on her face. Very good, let's start the war as soon as possible. When both of you are defeated, I can reap the benefits, haha. Chapter 179 Tang Xiao, don't be a coward. Both the Wuhan Empire and the Xingluo Empire were preparing for war. Although Lu Gao was killed by Xiao Han and the Blacksmith Association was destroyed by him, Tang San did not give up the plan to forge hidden weapons. Those hidden weapons with great lethality are as powerful as ordinary spirit masters and can greatly enhance the combat effectiveness of ordinary soldiers. The Xingluo Empire has its own weapons manufacturing bureau, which specializes in making weapons for the army and is managed by the army. Under the leadership of Tang San and Daimyo Bei, it took only half a year for thousands of huge divine crossbows to be manufactured and used to arm the army. Xiao Han and Jin Ringsu both knew that they could not wait any longer. They had to take the initiative to attack the Xingluo Empire. A large number of troops gathered at the border between the two countries, led by Xiao Han and Jin Ringsu personally supervising the army. The two armies confronted each other at the border, and a war was about to break out. Wuhan City, Pope's Palace. Bibi Dong leaned forward slightly on the Pope's chair, her eyes penetrating the cold hall, as if she could cross thousands of mountains and rivers and see the figure in the distance that made her love and hate, Gang. Complex emotion surged in her heart, love and hate intertwined, just like the irrepressible power in her body. Although Bibi Dong longed for a war between the two empires to reap the benefits, she was always worried about Gang. She believed that after Liu Erlong's death, Gang might return to her. Gang, why do you always make me so worried? Bibi Dong recalled every detail of her and Gang, from the initial encounter, to the later acquaintance, to the separation due to different positions. Every step was unforgettable. Although she was the Pope of the Spirit Hall and held great power, deep in her heart, her concern for Gang had never dissipated. Gang, do you know? My feelings for you have never changed. The war is about to break out. I hope you can stay away from this dispute, but I know that you will never stand idly by. Bibi Dong stood up, walked to the window, and stared into the distance. I have to do something. I can't put you in danger. Xia Gang, you can't escape from my grasp. No matter what the outcome of this war is, you will belong to me, on the border. The dawn broke, and a touch of blood-red sunlight sprinkled on the front of the two armies, as if foreshadowing the upcoming brutal battle. Tang Xiao and the two elders of the Haoshan sect, Ning Fengzi, Jian Douluo, Yu Xia Gang, Daimyu Bei, Tang San and others were standing on the towering city walls. They were the ones defending the city. The army of the Wuhan Empire had arrived in front of the city. The Dark Army showed Jin Ringsu's determination, and the air was filled with a tense and oppressive atmosphere. For Jin Ringsu, this was a victory that must be won. A victory in the first battle can greatly boost morale. Therefore, the lineup sent by the Wuhan Empire can be regarded as luxurious. The 5th worshipper Guangling Douluo, the 6th worshipper Qianjin Douluo, and the 7th worshipper Jiangmo Douluo were all dispatched. In addition, Snake Spear Douluo and Thorny Porpoise Douluo also accompanied to protect Jin Ringsu. They must win the first battle. For the Xingluo Empire, this is also a defensive battle that cannot be lost. This battle is related to the future of the Xingluo Empire, and it must go all out. If the attack of the Wuhan Empire can be successfully resisted, it will not only defend its homeland, but also accumulate confidence and strength for the subsequent counterattack. If the first battle fails, the Xingluo Empire will face an unprecedented crisis. Low morale, loss of territory, and plunder of resources, this series of chain reactions will put the Xingluo Empire in a passive situation, and may even cause internal turmoil and division. The Wuhan Empire will take this opportunity to drive straight in, further expand its sphere of influence, and eventually put the entire Xingluo continent under its iron hoof. Soldiers of Xingluo, I advise you not to struggle in vain. In front of the powerful Wuhan Empire, you have no chance of winning. If you surrender, I can spare your life. Jin Ringsu's voice came from the sky into the ears of the soldiers in the city, with unquestionable majesty. Daimyu Bei shouted, "Soldiers, as citizens of the Xingluo Empire, it is our mission to defend our country. We will never allow the Wuhan Empire to trample on the land of Xingluo. Even if we die in battle, we will not give up an inch and fight for honor. Fight for Xingluo, fight for honor." The shouts came from the city, and the soldiers seemed to be ready to die. The Emperor of Xingluo was known for his iron blood, and the empire had a strong military force. Therefore, he was not afraid of going to war with the Wuhan Empire. Jin Ringsu said coldly, "Since you want to die, I will grant your wish, Daimyu Bei. Today is your death day. Attack the city." With Jin Ringsu's order, the army slowly moved forward. Xiao Han, Guangling Douluo, Qianjin Douluo, and Jiangmo Douluo flashed out and headed straight for the city gate. Xiao Han knew that Tang San, Daimyu Bei and the others must have prepared a large number of huge divine crossbows and other hidden weapons. Therefore, in order to reduce unnecessary casualties, ordinary spirit masters and soldiers were not allowed to attack the city. The 4 strongest people led the charge. To capture the thief, first capture the king. The 4 of them aimed to kill the strongest titled Douluo in the opponent's formation, as well as Daimyu Bei, Yu Xia Gang and Tang San. Seeing the 4 figures approaching quickly, Tang San shouted, "Shoot!" In an instant, countless arrows made of special materials shot at the 4 figures in the air like a flood. A trifle, the 4 opened their respective defenses. Although the huge divine crossbow is powerful, it can only deal with soul masters below the soul emperor level, and cannot penetrate the defense of the titled Douluo level soul masters. Xiao Han and Guangling Douluo have the ability to attack from a distance. They quickly opened their bows and shot cold arrows at the crowd on the city wall. Boom! As Xiao Han shot an ice explosion arrow, a gap was blown out of the city wall, and a group of soldiers fell down. Protect His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. 3 Soul Douluo level guardians surrounded Daimyu Bei, Yu Xia Gang and Tang San. Tang Xiao and the 2 leaders of the Haoshan sect and Jian Douluo quickly flew out and greeted the 4 people in the air. "Jian Dao Chengsen, you are indeed very strong. We didn't have enough fun fighting last time. Let's have another good fight today. Don't worry, I won't use despicable means to take advantage of the opportunity to attack Ning Fengzi." "Okay, then I will do as you wish." After saying that, the 2 rushed towards each other at the same time. "Xiao Han, you killed my brother Hao and 2 elders of the Haoshan sect. You have an irreconcilable feud with the Haoshan sect today. I will make you pay with blood." Hearing this, the demon subduing Douluo was very unhappy. "Humph! Tang Xiao, you are old, and you challenge a junior. What kind of man are you? If you have the guts, fight me, Grandpa Demon Subduing, let me do it myself. Tang Xiao, if you run away again today, you will really become a turtle. After Xiao Han finished speaking, he drew his bow and shot an arrow, pointing directly at Tang Xiao. The demon subduing Douluo and Qianjin Douluo also faced the two titled Douluo elders of the Haoshan sect respectively. Chapter 180 Killing two more titled Douluo. Tang Xiao knew that Xiao Han's strength was extraordinary. Although Xiao Han was still a fighting soul Douluo, the strong soul power fluctuations and the amazing fighting power he had shown before all showed that he had a strong strength beyond the 95th level of the title Douluo. Therefore, when facing Xiao Han, Tang Xiao did not underestimate the enemy. His soul power surged all over his body, like a river bursting its banks, and he directly released the real body of the clear sky hammer, with the power of destroying the world, and suddenly smashed towards Xiao Han. Xiao Han snorted coldly. After this period of training, his soul power has increased again, and is currently at the bottleneck of the innate level. Facing this blow that is enough to shake the mountains and rivers, he is not afraid, but a glimmer of excitement flashed in his eyes. With the simultaneous blooming of the 200,000-year soul rings, Xiao Han also released his true body of this handing bow and arrow. The bow and arrow were surrounded by cold air, as if it could freeze everything in the world. Then, he directly activated the 8th soul skill, the seal of the ice sky blue dragon. An arrow containing the power of extreme ice shot out of the air and collided with Tang Xiao's clear sky hammer in mid-air. Boom! The moment the two collided, the entire space trembled. An indescribable chill erupted from the collision point, instantly freezing all the space within 100 meters around, forming a crystal clear ice area. The ice crystals flickered, and the cold air was pressing, as if even time was frozen by this extreme cold. Tang Xiao only felt a huge force rushing towards him. At the same time, the biting cold seemed to invade his bone marrow and freeze him completely. He was shocked. He didn't expect Xiao Han's 8th soul skill to be so powerful. If he didn't find a way to break the ice, he would be frozen to death by the ice. Tang Xiao's soul power surged wildly, and relying on the powerful power of the clear sky hammer, he broke through the ice with a deafening sound of shattering. However, at the moment he regained his freedom, an inexplicable force suddenly enveloped his whole body. His movements became extremely slow, and even his mental power seemed to be bound by invisible shackles. It's the slow domain. Tang Xiao's heart trembled. He heard Tang San mention that Xiao Han might have this extremely tricky domain skill. In this slow domain, both movement and mental power will be restricted to a certain extent, which is undoubtedly fatal for combat. Xiao Han's attack was too overbearing, and he wanted to kill Tang Xiao as soon as he appeared. Tang Xiao was a little panicked. He knew that in this slow domain, even a few seconds would be enough to decide life and death. Only an incomparable and powerful skill could break the restrictions of this slow domain. Without time to think about it, Tang Xiao directly activated the Clear Sky 9 Absolutes. The soul power in his body frantically gathered on the Clear Sky hammer. Clear Sky 9 Absolutes. Void Word Art. With a low shout, the Clear Sky hammer in Tang Xiao's hand suddenly expanded several times, and black light was wrapped around the hammer head, as if carrying the power to destroy the earth. He swung the huge Clear Sky hammer in an almost arrogant manner. Xiao Han shot 2 arrows in succession, but they were both shattered by the Clear Sky hammer. Clear Sky 9 Absolutes. Break the word art. Boom. With a deafening roar, the space seemed to be torn apart by this blow. The invisible barrier of the slowness domain gradually disintegrated under the violent force of the Clear Sky hammer. The moment the domain was broken, Tang Xiao felt his body lighten, and the shackles that bound his movements and mental power disappeared. He took the opportunity to flash and leap back hundreds of meters. With a great Clear Sky 9 Absolutes, seeing this, Xiao Han's mouth curled up a smile, but the fighting spirit in his eyes became more blazing. Tang Xiao, don't run if you have the guts, come again. Tang Xiao was much stronger than the injured Tang Hao. But Xiao Han was not afraid at all and prepared to launch another attack. Tang Xiao closely watched Xiao Han's movements. Suddenly, a heartbreaking scene came into his eyes. The 5th elder was actually severely injured by the stick of the demon subduing Douluo at this moment. The panlong staff of the demon subduing Douluo was extremely powerful, and each strike seemed to be able to shake the mountains and rivers. Although the 5th elder tried his best to resist, he was ultimately unable to withstand the devastating blow. He crashed heavily into the city wall like a leaf blown by the wind. Boom! Under the huge impact, a shocking large hole appeared in the city wall, with rubble and dust flying everywhere. Blood gushed out of the fifth elder's mouth, and he was dying. He struggled to stand up, but eventually fell to the ground powerlessly. Fifth elder, Tang Xiao's eyes were bloodshot. He roared, as if he wanted to vent all the grief and anger in his heart. The fifth elder's injuries were extremely serious. If he was not treated in time, he would probably be in danger. Tang Xiao's eyes flashed with raging anger, and he looked at Xiao Han, the demon subduing Douluo and others, and the murderous intent in his heart surged like a tide. Then, another scream came. Another elder was also defeated by Qianjin Douluo's Panlong staff, and his end was equally tragic. The two titled Douluos of Haoshan sect suffered heavy losses, which instantly changed the situation on the battlefield. Xiao Sen, quickly take the two elders away, Tang Xiao shouted loudly. He knew that the situation was extremely unfavorable to them. Tang Xiao, you can't even protect yourself, and you still care about others, go to hell. Xiao Han pulled the longbow in his hand again and aimed at Tang Xiao. Kill those two, Jin Ringsu shouted loudly. The demon subduing Douluo and Qianjin Douluo flashed out at the same time, heading straight for the two elders who were severely injured, ready to give them a fatal blow. Tang Xiao was horrified when he saw this. He suddenly jumped up, like a flash of lightning that cut through the sky, trying to intercept the demon subduing Douluo and Qianjin Douluo at that fatal moment. However, although he was fast, he was still a step slower. Xiao Han showed his power again. The two arrows were wrapped in an extremely cold aura, like the sickle of the god of death, piercing the bodies of the two elders who were powerless to resist accurately. The moment the arrows penetrated, the cold air burst out, instantly freezing the bodies of the two elders. Then there were two deafening explosions. Ice crystals and flesh and blood splattered everywhere. The two once majestic titled Douluo turned into a blood mist in full view of the public. The air was filled with a pungent smell of blood and a cold chill. This scene was extremely tragic and shocked everyone present. Tang San was dumbfounded and couldn't believe what was happening before his eyes. Tang Xiao saw the two elders being blown to pieces, his eyes filled with anger. Xiao Han, you bastard. I will cut you into pieces, Tang Xiao roared and swung the clear sky hammer in his hand again, with an even stronger momentum than before. Seeing this, Jin Ringsu's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. She didn't expect that Tang Xiao could still burst out with such a strong fighting power under such circumstances. This made her more determined to destroy the Haoshan sect. Kill Tang Xiao, don't give him any chance to breathe. Chapter 181 Bibi Dong, what are you crazy about? The demon subduing Douluo and the thousand strength Douluo attacked Tang Xiao together. Facing the attack from the demon subduing Douluo, the thousand strength Douluo and Xiao Han, Tang Xiao's pressure doubled. The soul power in his body surged wildly, like a surging ocean, and the light around him was bright, and the Haoshan formation suddenly opened. This is a secret method passed down from generation to generation in the Haoshan sect. It can be based on the formation to enhance one's own strength and resist external enemies at the same time. With the opening of the Haoshan formation, the Haoshan 9 absolutes have become more powerful. The attacks of the demon subduing Douluo and the thousand strength Douluo came like a storm, but were bounced back by the Haoshan hammer one by one. The two could not help but look surprised. However, the offensive of the three was still swift and fierce, vowing to kill Tang Xiao. The whole army retreat. Daimyo Bei saw that the situation was not good and quickly issued an order to retreat. He knew that if they continued, they would probably all die here. Xiao Sen, take the master away quickly, Daimyo Bei shouted loudly, hoping that Tang Sen and Yu Xiaogang would quickly evacuate this land of death. He himself was also preparing to evacuate under the cover of several Soul Douluo level guards. Teacher, let's go. Without time to think, Tang San quickly activated the flying skill of the 100,000-year right leg soul bone, pulled up Yu Xiaogang, and rushed to the back. You guys go quickly, I'll cover you. Tang Xiao's voice was like thunder. Facing the siege of three people, he still resisted stubbornly, trying to buy time for everyone to escape. Seeing that the situation was over, Jian Douluo also gave up the fight with Guangling Douluo and quickly retreated with Ning Fengzi. On the battlefield, only Tang Xiao was left to face the siege of Xiao Han, Jiangmo Douluo and Qianjin Douluo. Guangling Douluo suddenly disappeared from the spot. When he appeared again, he was already on Daimyo Bei's escape route. He smiled coldly, and the light feather arrow in his hand condensed instantly. The tracking and locking skill came without a trace and was activated. An invisible cold light arrow pointed directly at Daimubei's heart. Daimubei was also escaping very fast, but in front of the speed of light, all his reactions seemed so pale and powerless. The light feather arrow pierced his chest, and blood spurted out. "Your Highness," the guards roared, but it was useless. Daimubei's body hit the ground heavily, and the dust flew. Blood flowed out from the wound on his chest, staining the ground under him red. No, Tang San's eyes were bloodshot, and his flying figure suddenly stopped. "Mubei," Yu Xiaogang's voice was trembling, and his heart was bleeding. Tang San looked back and was immediately panicked. A blue figure was approaching rapidly. He knew that it was Xiao Han. "Teacher, let's go." Without any hesitation, Tang San released his soul power to the maximum, and his flying speed instantly increased to his limit. He knew that at this moment they were racing against time. Once Xiao Han caught up, they would end up like Daimubei. Behind them, Xiao Han was chasing closely. The azure arrow was already on the bowstring, the tip of the arrow flashing a cold blue light, locking onto Tang San's back. "Little jerk, you can't escape." The arrow flew out of the bowstring, chasing Tang San. Tang San was extremely nervous, as if he smelled the breath of death. At this critical moment, a powerful force suddenly surged from the side, blocking the arrow abruptly. "Who?" Xiao Han's face darkened, his eyes like knives, and he turned to the source of the power. He saw a purple-black figure, accompanied by an extremely powerful evil aura. The person who came was Bibi Dong. "Bibi Dong, it's you." At this moment, Guangling Douluo also rushed over. "Bibi Dong, what are you crazy about? Do you know what you are doing? These two are enemies of our spirit hall." Bibi Dong snorted coldly. "Yu Xiaogang is my man, I will never allow anyone to hurt him. Even if he wants to die, he must die in my hands," Bibi Dong said, gently waved her hand, and an invisible force wrapped Tang San and Yu Xiaogang, and instantly took them away from the battlefield. Seeing this, Guangling Douluo gritted his teeth, worried that he had fallen into a trap and did not rush to chase Xiao Han. Bibi Dong's sudden appearance may be a trick. "Let's go back and tell Xiaoxu the news, and kill Tang Xiao by the way." "Okay." The two quickly turned back. On the battlefield, Tang Xiao was still fighting hard with the demon-subduing Douluo and the thousand-strength Douluo. Facing the pincer attack of the two-peaked Douluos, it was not so easy for Tang Xiao to retreat unscathed. As time went by, his physical strength and soul power were rapidly consumed, but the fighting spirit in his eyes had never diminished. The return of Guangling Douluo and Xiao Han made the already difficult battle situation even worse. The four of them formed a circle and trapped Tang Xiao tightly. Every move and every style was enough to shake the mountains and rivers. "Tang Xiao, today is your death." Tang Xiao looked around and knew in his heart that if he continued like this, he might really not be able to escape. But as the leader of the Haoshan sect, he must not give up easily. "Humph, it's not that easy to kill me," Tang Xiao shouted angrily, and the soul power in his body surged wildly. He decided to use the most taboo skill of the Haoshan sect, Ring Explosion. This skill explodes with amazing power at the cost of exploding the soul ring. It will never be used easily unless it is absolutely necessary. Tang Xiao waved the Haoshan hammer in his hand frantically, and the first soul ring exploded. The explosion was accompanied by a deafening roar, and the powerful shock wave of power made the entire battlefield tremble. The demon-subduing Douluo, Guangling Douluo and Xiao Han had experienced the scene of ring explosion when they fought Tang Hao in the center of the Xingdao Great Forest. Therefore, they were well prepared and were not affected by the powerful energy. "Tang Xiao, you are worthy of being Tang Hao's brother. You want to die in the same way, by self-explosion." Haha, the ridicule of the demon-subduing Douluo made Tang Xiao very angry. "You all go to hell." Then, the second, third, and fourth soul rings on the clear sky hammer in Tang Xiao's hand exploded one after another. However, this was not enough. When the fifth soul ring also began to explode, the entire battlefield seemed to be swallowed by the black light, and an unprecedented terrifying energy surged out and rushed straight into the sky. After the black light dissipated, the battlefield was dead silent, with only broken walls and gunpowder everywhere. The city wall had been razed to the ground, and thousands of people fell forever on the battlefield. Demon-subduing Douluo, Qianjin Douluo, and Guangling Douluo, although they had been prepared, could not help but be shocked by the power of the continuous ring explosions. Especially the 10,000-year soul ring, the energy it exploded was really too terrifying. With such destructive power, even they could hardly escape unscathed. let alone those innocent soldiers who were closest. Damn it, he escaped again. Demon subduing Douluo gnashed his teeth. Seeing Jinriksu coming over, he quickly asked, Xiaoxu, are you okay? I'm fine. When the 10,000-year spirit ring exploded just now, fortunately Xiao Han blocked it for us, otherwise the casualties would be even more severe. Chapter 182 Anzi, Duang, kill me. Several people looked at the raised city wall. In the past, the area past there belonged to the Xingluo Empire. But from today on, that city belongs to the Wuhan Empire. This battle went relatively smoothly. Although Tang Xiao escaped again, the Haoshan sect lost 2 title Douluo level elders and many disciples, and its strength was greatly reduced. Jinriksu smiled with satisfaction. 3 grandfathers, Xiao Han, we were able to win the first battle so smoothly, and the 4 of you have made an indelible contribution. The demon subduing Douluo laughed. I haven't had enough fun yet, and Tang Xiao, that bastard, ran away again. Qianjin Douluo sighed. The power of the Haoshan sect's unique skill, the Ring Blast, is indeed strong, especially the power generated by the explosion of the 10,000-year soul ring. Tang Xiao should have been seriously injured, but it's a pity that I couldn't kill him this time. Guangling Douluo looked solemn. The Haoshan sect has lost 4 elders, leaving only Tang Xiao and another elder. They are not to be feared. What I am worried about is what Bibi Dong is trying to do. Speaking of Bibi Dong, both subduing Demon Douluo and Thousand Jun Douluo were furious. That woman Bibi Dong is really crazy. She actually rescued Yu Xiaogang. She went against us for a piece of trash. What on earth was she thinking? To be honest, I've disliked her for a long time. If it weren't for Big Brother's support for her, how could she have ascended to the throne of Pope? Xiao Han smiled slightly and said, everyone, I think this is a good thing. Oh? What do you mean? Xiao Han paused, then analyzed. Bibi Dong cares about Yu Xiaogang a lot, so Yu Xiaogang's death will become a time bomb. If Yu Xiaogang really died, Bibi Dong would become even crazier, and she would do anything to retaliate or even destroy the spirit hall. This time, she rescued Yu Xiaogang from us, and she must have been prepared to break with the spirit hall, and the position of Pope could not be kept. We can just take back her position as Pope and keep the spirit hall firmly in our hands. Jinriksu smiled slightly. Xiao Han is right. Bibi Dong and I have been competing secretly, and the spirit hall has long been split into 2 factions. After the complete breakup, the spirit hall controlled by us is the real spirit hall. Jinriksu has been looking forward to this day. From the day she took over the Xiandao Empire, she knew that Bibi Dong would not sit still and wait for death. Bibi Dong wiped out the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family at lightning speed, which was a silent provocation to her. Today, Bibi Dong ignored her identity as the Pope in order to save the waste Yu Xiaogang. When she made this decision, she was destined to no longer be the Pope of the Spirit Hall. The Spirit Hall can finally return to the hands of the 6-winged angel lineage again. Guangling Douluo said. Having said that, Bibi Dong's betrayal has a huge impact on the overall strength of the Spirit Hall. The 4 lower sects are all in the Star Luo Empire, and they originally supported Bibi Dong. In addition, she has many confidants in the Spirit Hall. If those people still support Bibi Dong and are taken to the Star Luo Empire by her, it will be a huge threat to us. Jinriksu certainly knew the seriousness of the matter. She and Xiao Han looked at each other and smiled. Grandpa Guangling, you are right to worry, but we are not unprepared. Xiao Han reminded me a long time ago that Bibi Dong had such ambitions. Among those confidants around her, the strongest ones are the 2 elders Zhu and Ji Yui. They were originally my father's subordinates. After my father's death, they began to assist Bibi Dong. I also reminded Grandpa a long time ago that if Bibi Dong rebelled, leave the 2 elders behind. Guangling Douluo nodded gently and smiled. So you and Xiao Han have been prepared for it, so I feel relieved. Yu Guan and Gimri's martial soul fusion skill, the static field, is very powerful. Even the peak Douluo above level 95 will be restricted by this field skill. This is also the reason why they have been deeply valued by the Wuhan Hall and Bibi Dong for many years. If the 2 of them also defected to Bibi Dong, they would undoubtedly become a huge threat. Xiao Han knew that Jin Daoliu was able to keep the 2 of them. Because the 2 of them were loyal to the former Pope Qiang Sunji before, but they didn't know the real cause of Qiang Sunji's death. If they knew the truth, they would not be likely to continue to follow Bibi Dong. Jinriksu's eyes swept across the battlefield. I will not let the blood of the people of the Wuhan Empire flow in vain. Today is the beginning of our conquest of the Xingluo Empire. One day, the Douluo continent will achieve peaceful unification and no more wars will break out. Well said. The Wuhan Palace will win. Several people smiled at each other, full of confidence in the future. Jin Ringsu continued, Grandpa Guangling, you are the fastest. Go back to Wuhan City and tell Grandpa everything that happened here so that he can make arrangements early. Okay. Guangling Douluo nodded to Xiao Han, then turned into a beam of light and disappeared into the sky. Under the command of Jin Ringsu and Xiao Han, the soldiers began to clean up the battlefield and prepare to enter the city. At the same time, on the other side, Tang Xiao fled to a deep mountain in the Xingluo Empire. He slumped on the ground, his face as pale as paper, and blood still hung from the corners of his mouth. Facing the siege of 4 strong men, he managed to escape by luck thanks to the power of the explosion of the 10,000-year soul ring. However, the explosion of 5 soul rings in succession consumed a lot of his own energy. This is a desperate skill in itself, which is no different from suicide. Fortunately, before this battle, he was in a state of complete victory and had no injuries on his body. Otherwise, he would have ended up like Tang Hao, exploding and dying. However, after using the ring explosion skill, his body is now in a weak state. Within 3 days, he can no longer use the soul ring skill. Those exploded soul rings will also need 3 days to gradually recover. Therefore, for him at the moment, hiding in this uninhabited deep mountain forest is the safest. Cough cough, Tang Xiao coughed a few times and spit out a few mouthfuls of blood. Damn you Spirit Hall! You killed 2 elders of our Haoshan sect today. What you did to the Haoshan sect, Tang Xiao, will pay you back 100-fold. When I recover from my injuries, it will be time for us to fight to the death. Ahem, Tang Xiao was so angry that he coughed up a few mouthfuls of blood. He thought of Tang Sen, wondering whether Tang Sen and Yu Xiaogang were dead or alive. Xiao Sen, have you escaped? Are you still alive, brother Hao? It's all my fault. I didn't protect Xiao San well. In a dark cave within the Xingluo Empire, Tang San sat cross-legged and took the opportunity to recover his soul power. Not far away, Bibi Dong and Yu Xiaogang were chatting about something. Yu Xiaogang gritted his teeth, his eyes full of anger. Bibi Dong, why did you save me? You wiped out our entire Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family, but you didn't let me die. Why did you torture me like this? Bibi Dong, kill me. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 Bibi Dong's Ambition. Yu Xiaogang and Tang San would never have thought that the person who saved them at the critical moment of life and death was actually the Pope of the Spirit Hall, Bibi Dong. They always believed that Bibi Dong and Jin Ringsu were in the same group and jointly created the tragedy of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. Yu Xiaogang's anger and confusion intertwined, almost suffocating him. He stared at Bibi Dong with hatred and a hint of indescribable complex emotions. Bibi Dong looked at Yu Xiaogang quietly. There were too many unknown stories and sadness hidden in those deep eyes. Xiaogang, you hate me, I understand. But do you know? From the moment I decided to save you, I had already stood on the opposite side of the Spirit Hall. Everything I did was for you. For you, I can even give up the position of the Pope of the Spirit Hall. Until now, don't you understand my sincerity? Yu Xiaogang felt unbelievable when listening to Bibi Dong's words. The woman in front of him was the high and mighty Pope of the Spirit Hall, admired by thousands of people. The last time they met, she was arrogant and looked down on everything. But now she has become so humble, like a dog wagging its tail to beg for mercy. If not for some other purpose, what else could it be? After guessing Bibi Dong's thoughts, Yu Xiaogang said coldly, "Humph. Who knows what you, a woman with a heart more vicious than snakes and scorpions, want to do?" The anger on Yu Xiaogang's face did not seem to be loosened at all. He believed that Bibi Dong and Jin Ringsu were in the same group, and she did all this just to get into the inner circle of the Xingluo Empire, so that she could catch them all in one fell swoop. Yu Xiaogang's attitude and words, like a cold sword, deeply pierced into Bibi Dong's heart. Bibi Dong was so heartbroken that she could hardly speak. Xiaogang, everything I did was for the ideal in my heart, why can't you understand me? Yu Xiaogang continued to mock, "Your Majesty, I am still more accustomed to your high and mighty appearance. What is your ideal? Is it power? Is it to rule the entire Douluo continent?" Or, Yu Xiaogang couldn't say any more. Bibi Dong shook her head gently, her eyes softened, as if she had traveled through time and space and returned to the past. "Xiaogang, do you still remember our dreams when we were young? At that time, we longed for knowledge and explored the mysteries of martial spirits and growth. Although we have experienced a lot later, I have never forgotten that original intention." Yu Xiaogang was stunned, and those dusty memories came like a tide, making him a little dazed for a moment. Yes, they all had innocent dreams. But when did everything become so complicated and so unrecognizable? "But you wiped out the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family." "That is my family, the place where I was born and raised." Yu Xiaogang's voice trembled, tears rolled in his eyes, but he stubbornly refused to fall. Bibi Dong closed her eyes and took a deep breath in pain. "That was the most difficult decision I have ever made. But Xiaogang, you have to understand that my original intention of doing this was also for you. Those who hurt and humiliated you must die a miserable death. I avenge you and get rid of them. Isn't that good?" "No. Not at all. Bibi Dong, you are crazy. You and I have long broken up, and you don't need to worry about my affairs at all." "Xiaogang, are you still holding a grudge against me for that incident? Do you know that I also had my own difficulties back then? For you, I would rather give up the position of the Pope of the Spirit Hall, but in return I still get your ruthlessness and indifference." The cave fell into a brief silence, with only Tang San's slight breathing and the occasional sound of the wind outside. Yu Xiaogang's heart was struggling violently. He tried to understand Bibi Dong and tried to find a reason that would allow him to accept all this. Bibi Dong wanted to tell Yu Xiaogang about the humiliation she suffered that year and the true relationship with Jin Rixu. But that was the biggest stain in her life. Yu Xiaogang was narrow-minded, so how could he accept her like that? "Xiaogang, give me a chance, and give yourself a chance. Let's work together to change the things we can change and correct the mistakes we made before." Bibi Dong spoke again, with a hint of pleading in her voice. Yu Xiaogang looked at Bibi Dong, his eyes flashing with complex emotions. There was only one step between the two of them, but it seemed like a whole world was between them. "Bibi Dong, how can you let me trust you?" "Xiaogang, then how can you trust me? For you, I have lost a position of Pope of the Spirit Hall. In the future, I will use my actions to prove to you that I am sincere to you." "Okay, then let me ask you, Jin Rixu is the direct descendant of Jin Douluo, but whose daughter is she?" "It's the daughter of the former Pope Jin Zunji." Yu Xiaogang frowned. "Jin Zunji's daughter? What about her mother?" "Her mother died when she gave birth to her." Bibi Dong's eyes flashed with a hint of ruthlessness. It was a shame she didn't want to mention. In her heart, she had already died once. Yu Xiaogang was skeptical about Bibi Dong's words, and then asked, "What are you going to do next?" Bibi Dong snorted coldly. "Xiaogang, you don't know. The Spirit Hall seems to be united, but in fact it has long been divided into two factions, one headed by me and the other headed by Jin Douluo. Although the old man Jin Douluo helped me to become the Pope, he did not really recognize me. And the old guys in the worship hall are only loyal to the six-winged angel lineage and only recognize Jin Rixu. Even if I have devoted half my life to the Spirit Hall and led the Spirit Hall to an unprecedented height, it will not belong to me in the end, but only to the Jin family." From the moment Xiao Han helped Jin Rixu take over the Xiandao Empire, the situation has quietly changed. Sooner or later, they will drive me out of the Spirit Hall and firmly control the Spirit Hall in their own hands. But I have been prepared, and the accumulation of many years has enabled me to achieve 100 responses. I want to form a force that belongs entirely to me, with everything under my control, also called the Spirit Hall. No. It's the new Spirit Hall. Yu Xiaogang was shocked after hearing what Bibi Dong said. He didn't expect that the seemingly united Spirit Hall had actually split into two factions. You want to form a new Spirit Hall? That's right. Why can they name it the Spirit Hall, but I can't? I still want to be the Pope of the Spirit Hall, admired by thousands of people. As long as I am still the Pope, the four lower sects of the Xingluo Empire and my trusted old generals will all join me. Looking at such a crazy Bibi Dong, Yu Xiaogang was speechless. Seeing that Yu Xiaogang's attitude had eased a lot, Bibi Dong's face showed a hint of smile. Xiaogang, Daimyo Bei is dead. How are you going to face the Star Luo Emperor when you go back? If I form a new spirit hall, are you willing to be my chief elder? Chapter 184 Tang San's Plan. For many years, Bibi Dong had only one goal, which was to destroy the spirit hall controlled by the Jin family and build a world that could accommodate her and use Gang. If this goal could not be achieved in the end, then she would destroy the entire world. Bibi Dong originally wanted to take advantage of the war between the Spirit Empire and the Xingluo Empire, and reap the benefits. But she underestimated Jin Ringsu's determination and Xiao Han's strength, and overestimated Tang Xiao, Ning Fengzi and Jian Douluo. She would never watch Yu Gang being killed. For Yu Gang, she was willing to give up the position of Pope of the Spirit Hall. Yu Gang looked at Bibi Dong with mixed feelings. Although Bibi Dong's idea of building a new spirit hall was crazy, it was not impossible. The death of Daimyo Bei was like a heavy hammer that hit Yu Gang's heart, forcing him to re-examine the current situation and his future. After the fall of the Xiandao Empire, Yu Gang, Ning Fengzi, Tang Xiao and his party came to the Xingluo Empire and were valued by the Xingluo Emperor and Daimyo Bei. However, he always felt that something was missing. After all, they were outsiders, and there was always an invisible barrier between them and the Star Luo Emperor. Everything in this world seemed to be based on interests. After the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family was exterminated, Yu Gang seemed to have no use value to the Star Luo Emperor. The Star Luo Emperor would not use Yu Gang as much as the Snow Knight Emperor did when he was alive. He only gave Yu Gang some opportunities to display his abilities for the sake of Daimyo Bei. However, it was only limited to some insignificant decisions. Yu Gang had no say in major decision-making issues. This time, accompanying Daimyo Bei to defend the city was also an opportunity to prove himself. Unexpectedly, they not only lost the city, but also witnessed Daimyo Bei's tragic death in this battle. Yu Gang didn't know how to face the Star Luo Emperor after returning. Yu Gang's voice was trembling, as if he couldn't believe the fact that Daimyo Bei was dead. Bibi Dong comforted him softly. Xiao Gang, don't be too sad, it's not your fault, you have tried your best. Yu Gang raised his head and tried not to let the tears in his eyes flow out. He knew that Daimyo Bei's death was a huge blow to the Xingluo Empire. Even if the Xingluo Emperor did not blame him, he would find it difficult to forgive himself. If Bibi Dong could really form a new Wuhan Hall to fight against the Wuhan Empire, the situation of the Xingluo Empire would be reversed, which is undoubtedly good news. Thinking of this, Yu Gang asked, Bibi Dong, where do you want to build a new Wuhan Hall? Of course it's the Xingluo Empire. I only need a city. With a new Wuhan Hall in the Xingluo Empire, Jin Ringsu and the others dare not act rashly. Yu Gang nodded gently. Up to now, he has not fully trusted Bibi Dong, and he doesn't know if this will bring in wolves. But at the moment, they don't seem to have a better choice. Facing such a rapid offensive from the Wuhan Empire, the Xingluo Empire can't hold on for long. Seeing Yu Gang was a little hesitant, Bibi Dong said, Xiao Gang, haven't you always wanted to know how I solved the problem of twin martial spirits? I can tell you, and let you help Tang San. Yu Gang was shocked and looked at Tang San, who was not far away. Wait for me here for a while, I will go and discuss it with Xiao San. After Yu Gang finished speaking, he walked straight towards Tang San. Tang San was also surprised that Bibi Dong openly opposed the people of the Spirit Hall and saved him and Yu Gang from them. Teacher, what are you talking about? You've been talking for so long, Xiao San. There are some things I don't know how to say. Teacher, is it about Bibi Dong? We just experienced a life and death situation. If she hadn't acted in time, we might have died under Xiao Han's ice arrow. Although I shouldn't say it, I can really feel that she really cares about you, just like I care about Xiao Wu. Yu Gang sighed. Xiao San, do you think so too? Well, if you really care about someone, your eyes won't lie. Okay, what I'm going to say next may shock you. Teacher, go ahead. Then, Yu Gang told Tang San everything he had talked about with Bibi Dong. After listening, Tang San was secretly happy. I didn't expect that there would be such a serious split within the Spirit Hall. This is great news for us. Bibi Dong's establishment of a new Spirit Hall will definitely greatly damage the strength of the Spirit Hall. This is our opportunity. Xiao San, you are right. But, do you really not mind what Bibi Dong did before? Tang San shook his head and said, before, the debt owed by the Spirit Hall to Haoshan sect was mostly caused by the former Pope Jin's Unji. It was normal for Bibi Dong to make such a decision after taking over the position of Pope. The deaths of my father and the 4 elders of the Haoshan sect are directly related to Xiao Han, Jin Ringsu and others. They are my real enemies. What about Xiao Wu? Although Xiao Wu's mother died because of Bibi Dong, Daming and Erming both died at the hands of Xiao Han, Jin Ringsu and others, and have nothing to do with Bibi Dong. Teacher, don't worry, I will explain everything to her in person. I believe that she will consider the overall situation. Tang-san is a calculating person, and he is calculating all the time. At this moment, the target of his calculations is Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong has the strength of a peerless Douluo. It is of course a good thing that such a strong person can become an ally instead of an enemy. She can be used to deal with Xiao Han and Jin Ringsu. No one can guarantee what will happen in the future. But for now, Bibi Dong's joining can resolve the major crisis that the Xingluo Empire is facing. Moreover, Bibi Dong really loves Yu Xiaogang. With her around, Yu Xiaogang's safety can be guaranteed. If Yu Xiaogang can stay with her as the chief elder, he will have the opportunity to show his skills in the future. Maybe he, Tang-san, can also have a place in the new Wuhan Hall. If his strength becomes stronger in the future, after getting rid of enemies like Xiao Han and Jin Ringsu, it is not a bad idea to find an opportunity to get rid of Bibi Dong. Tang-san and analyze, teacher, Bibi Dong and the Xingluo Empire do not have much conflict. Moreover, the 4 lower sects in the Xingluo Empire all support Bibi Dong. Under the pressure of the situation, the Xingluo Emperor should also support Bibi Dong in establishing a new Wuhan Hall in the territory. There is no direct conflict between the Kibaoliuli sect and Bibi Dong. A situation of non-interference should be formed in the Xingluo Empire. As for our Haoshan sect, I have just stated my position. Our Haoshan sect's biggest enemies are Xiao Han and Jin Ringsu. Uncle should also understand this. Now the most important thing is to see your attitude. Teacher, no matter what decision you make, I will support you. Yu Xiaogang understood what Tang-san meant. The destruction of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family is directly related to Bibi Dong. If even he, Yu Xiaogang, can forgive Bibi Dong, what else can't be overcome? Will Chapter 185 invite a wolf into the house? After some deep thinking, Yu Xiaogang's eyes gradually became firm. He looked up at the dark cave ceiling and made a major decision in his heart. Then, he turned to Tang-san and said, Xiao-san, you are right. In this chaotic world, we need not only strength and revenge, but also wisdom. Although Bibi Dong has made mistakes, I can also feel her intentions. In order to fight against the Spirit Empire and for our future, I am willing to trust her again. Hearing this, Tang-san's face was full of joy. Teacher, your decision is wise. I believe that with you and Bibi Dong's power, we will be able to turn the situation around and defeat the Spirit Empire. Yu Xiaogang nodded, and then called Bibi Dong over. Bibi Dong, Xiao-san and I have discussed it. We are willing to trust you and cooperate with you to fight against the Spirit Empire together. However, I hope you can understand that our cooperation is based on mutual trust. If you have any betrayal, I will never forgive you. Hearing this, Bibi Dong felt relieved. She looked at Tang-san and smiled. Tang-san, you always regarded me as your enemy. I never thought that we would become allies one day. Tang-san said calmly, Bibi Dong, my mother's death has nothing to do with you. My father and the elders of the Haoshan sect all died at the hands of Xiao Han and Jin Ringsu. They are my real enemies and our common enemies. I can understand your thoughts. I am afraid that no one in this world cares about my teacher more than you and me. With my current ability, it is not enough to protect the teacher. The teacher is safest when he is with you. Bibi Dong turned her head to look at Yu Xiaogang on the side, and said, Xiaogang, I now know why you have been protecting him so much. You really have accepted a good disciple. Tang-san, don't worry, with me here, no one can hurt your teacher. Tang-san nodded slightly. Yu Xiaogang continued, Bibi Dong, don't be too happy too soon. This is just a consensus reached between the 3 of us. Whether you can set up a new spirit wall in the Xingluo Empire depends on the attitude of the Xingluo Emperor. Bibi Dong sneered. Xingluo Emperor? Does he have any choice? The Spirit Empire won the first battle and the offensive was swift. Without my intervention, how long can he last? That being said, the decision is still in his hands. Let's go back to Xingluo City and report everything to him, and then make the next plan. Xiaogang, let him know that I don't have that much patience. Yu Xiaogang nodded, and then left with Tang-san. At the same time, The Xingluo Empire was already in a gloomy fog. When the Xingluo Emperor learned that Daimyo Bei had died in battle and the city was occupied by the Spirit Empire, he was furious. Damn Spirit Empire! My son was brutally killed by them, the Xingluo Emperor roared, and his voice echoed throughout the palace. First it was Davis, then Daimyo Bei, his two most beloved sons. Both died tragically at the hands of the enemy, and both were directly related to Xiao Han. His hatred for Xiao Han increased a little more. Ning Fengzi and Jian Douluo escaped back, and Tang Xiao, Yu Xiaogang and Tang San were at a loss. No one knew whether they were dead or alive. Xingluo Emperor sent more people to find out about them, hoping that they were still alive. A few days later, Yu Xiaogang and Tang San returned to Xingluo city in dejection. They were not in a hurry to see Xingluo Emperor, but found Ning Fengzi first. Ning Fengzi was very happy to see the two return safely. Master, Xiao San, I'm so glad you're safe and sound. Uncle Ning, I'm sorry to have worried you. I wonder if my uncle, Ning Fengzi patted Tang San's shoulder and comforted him. Xiao San, don't worry. Sect Master Tang Xiao is very powerful and will never let those people succeed easily. I guess, maybe he is recuperating somewhere, or on his way back to Xingluo city. I hope so. By the way, Xiao San, why did you come back now? Yu Xiaogang and Tang San looked at each other and indicated that he would tell the story. Sect Master Ning, to be honest, Xiao San and I almost died under Xiao Han's arrow, and it was Bibi Dong who saved us. What? It was Bibi Dong who saved you? Ning Fengzi was incredulous. Yu Xiaogang nodded gently, and then told him one by one that the two of them were rescued by Bibi Dong and decided to cooperate with Bibi Dong. After listening, Ning Fengzi was silent for a long time. He knew the risks of this decision, but he also understood that in the current situation, they really needed a strong ally to fight against the Wuhan Empire together. Xiaogang, Xiaozhen, your decision is bold, but also wise. The current situation is extremely unfavorable to the Xingluo Empire. We really need to unite all the forces that can be united to fight against the Wuhan Empire. Although Bibi Dong has made mistakes, her strength and influence cannot be ignored. If we can cooperate with her, it will undoubtedly greatly increase our chances of winning. Yu Xiaogang and Tang San smiled at each other. Master Ning, so you also support this decision? Ning Fengzi nodded. There was no conflict between him and Bibi Dong personally. Moreover, he had already moved the entire sect to Xingluo city, and of course he did not want the Xingluo Empire to lose. After some discussion, the three decided to meet the Xingluo Emperor. They hoped that the Xingluo Emperor would support Bibi Dong in establishing a new Wuhan Hall within the Xingluo Empire to fight against the invasion of the Wuhan Empire. Yu Xiaogang, Tang San and Ning Fengzi came to the palace. Then, they told the Xingluo Emperor that they were rescued by Bibi Dong and that Bibi Dong wanted to establish a new Wuhan Hall within the Xingluo Empire. After listening, the Xingluo Emperor was silent for a moment. He weighed the pros and cons in his mind, thinking whether this decision was wise. Giving up a city to Bibi Dong might lead to a wolf entering the house. However, judging from the current situation, they were simply unable to stop the progress of the Spirit Empire. The Starluo Emperor was not in a hurry to give an answer. Such a major matter, related to the fate of the Starluo Empire, he had to discuss with the ministers before making a decision. Yu Xiaogang, Tang San and Ning Fengzi left the palace. As soon as he returned to the Haoshan sect, Tang San saw Tang Xiao. Uncle, you are finally back. Tears welled up in Tang San's eyes. These days, he has been worried about Tang Xiao's safety. Seeing Tang Xiao return, he was very excited. Tang Xiao looked at Tang San carefully and found that he was safe and sound, so he was relieved. Xiao San, you and Master are safe. It's really great. Tell me what happened after you left, Uncle. It was Bibi Dong who saved me and the teacher. Then, Tang San told Tang Xiao everything that happened. Chapter 186, Abolition of the Pope. Tang Xiao was a little worried when he learned that Bibi Dong wanted to establish a new spirit hall in the Xingluo Empire, but he was also secretly happy. In just over a year, the Haoshan sect lost 4 titled Douluo level elders. This was a huge blow to them, which seriously damaged their vitality and greatly reduced their strength. According to the rapid offensive of the Spirit Empire, it would not take long for them to annex the entire Xingluo Empire. When the war came, the Haoshan sect had to fight for the empire. In this way, there would be more serious casualties. If Bibi Dong joined, they would have some breathing space. Therefore, Tang Xiao also supported the decision of Tang San and Yu Xiaogang on the other side, Spirit City. After learning what Bibi Dong had done, Jin Daolia quickly summoned the top leaders of the Spirit Hall. Everyone unanimously decided to abolish Bibi Dong's position as the Pope. This decision set off a huge wave, and many soul masters loyal to Bibi Dong fled from Spirit City overnight, including many soul Douluo level masters. Fortunately, Jin Daolia was well prepared and left behind two elders, Yu Guan and Gimri. After taking the first city of the Xingluo Empire, the Wuhan Empire did not stop its pace of advancement. After a short rest, under the leadership of Jin Ringsu and Xiao Han, the army of the Wuhan Empire marched forward triumphantly and took down two more cities of the Xingluo Empire. Now, the Xingluo Emperor was really panicked. He quickly found Yu Xiaogang and agreed to let Bibi Dong set up a new Wuhan Hall in the territory of the Xingluo Empire and gave her a city. This city is in the province of Majera, not far from Xingluo City, only about 200 miles. Although this is very dangerous, it can protect Xingluo City when the enemy invades. After meeting with Bibi Dong for a detailed discussion, Yu Xiaogang gathered several Shrek people. Two of the Shrek 7 devils have gone, leaving only Tang San, Ma Hongjin, Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuking and Ning Rongrong. Yu Xiaogang looked at everyone and said, "Children, I will leave Xingluo City soon to help Bibi Dong set up a new spirit hall in Macon City. Although Bibi Dong was once our enemy and did many things to hurt us. But in order to avenge Flanders, Erlong, Daimyu Bei, Oscar and those who died because of Xiao Han and Jin Ringsu, I have to do this." Tang San said, "Teacher, I will go with you." "Master, I will go too," Xiao Wu continued. Tang San frowned. After all, Xiao Wu is a spirit beast with a cultivation of more than 100,000 years. It is extremely dangerous to let her stay with Bibi Dong. However, Tang San is even more worried about leaving her alone in Xingluo City. Yu Xiaogang nodded slightly to Tang San. "Xiao San, I know you're worried about Xiao Wu. Take her with you." "With me here, Bibi Dong won't hurt her." "Yes," Ma Hongjin said, "Master, take me with you too. I'm bored in Xingluo City now that you're all gone." After Oscar died, Ma Hongjin tried to please Ning Rongrong and wanted to take care of her for Oscar. But Ning Rongrong didn't appreciate it. Moreover, Ning Fengzi didn't like Ma Hongjin either. If Tang San left, Ma Hongjin would only be bored if he stayed in Xingluo City. It would be better for them to leave together. Yu Xiaogang nodded. "Okay, you go with us too, just in case someone takes care of you." Xiao Wu looked at Zhu Zhuking and Ning Rongrong and asked, "Rongrong, what about you?" Ning Rongrong's tears welled up in her eyes. "Xiao Wu, I want to go with you, but I have a family mission, not as free as you, so I have to stay in the sect." Yu Xiaogang nodded and said, "Rongrong is right, she can't go with us. It's safest for her to stay in the Seven Treasures Glazed sect." Xiao Wu then looked at Zhu Zhuking. "Zhuking, what about you?" "I'll go with you." Daimyu Bei's death made Zhu Zhuking very sad. She didn't want to stay in this sad place either. "Rongrong, you stay in Xingluo City alone, take care of yourself, don't worry, it's not far away anyway. If I miss you, I'll go find you." "Okay, then it's a deal." The next day, Tang San and his friends said goodbye to Ning Rongrong, and followed Yu Xiaogang to Macang City. In Macang City, everything was going on in an orderly manner. There was originally a branch of the Spirit Hall here. After Jin Ringsu took over the Xiandao Empire, she officially became an enemy of the Xingluo Empire, and the people in the branch of the Spirit Hall also evacuated in advance. Although this branch hall is far inferior to the Pope Hall in Wuhan City, it is also a good temporary place to stay. As soon as they arrived here, Tang San and his friends saw three familiar faces. They were Hulina, Ziyu and Yan, the leaders of the younger generation of spirit masters in Wuhan Hall, and the three geniuses of the golden generation of Wuhan Hall. In the final match of the top three in the Spirit Master competition, the Shrek Academy team led by Tang San defeated the Spirit Hall Academy team. At that time, they won by poison. However, they eventually fell at the feet of Xianshu Academy led by Xiao Han. After the defeat in the Spirit Master competition, the three had been training in the Death Canyon and made considerable progress. However, they did not expect that the Wuhan Hall had undergone earth-shaking changes. Hulina has always been regarded as a successor to be cultivated by Bibi Dong. For Hulina, Bibi Dong is not only a mentor, but also a mother-like existence, giving her meticulous care. Therefore, no matter what decision Bibi Dong makes, she will follow unswervingly. As Hulina's brother, Ziyu will of course support his sister's decision. Yan grew up with the two of them, and they have been inseparable for many years. They have a deep relationship, and he also likes Hulina. Therefore, the three of them all went to Bibi. The three of them walked towards Tang San and his friends. Hulina smiled and said, I didn't expect to meet you here. We were opponents and enemies in the past. But from now on, we are friends on the same front. Tang San also smiled and responded, we became friends because of our common enemy. Now we all have a common goal. Let everything in the past go. At this time, Bibi walked towards them. I am very happy to see that you can put aside the grievances of the past and face the challenges of the future together. This is the unity and trust we need. Very good, you are all excellent, and you are all the future of the new Wuhan Hall. As Bibi spoke, her eyes swept over the few people and finally fixed on Xiao Wu. She saw some hostility in Xiao Wu's eyes. Xiao Wu, I'm sorry for your mother's death. As you know, it is the law of nature for soul masters to hunt soul beasts. However, since you have transformed into a human through cultivation, and you are also one of Xiao Gang's most cared for students, I will no longer have any thoughts about you. This is my promise to you, and I hope you can let go of your guard. Chapter 187, Building a New Spirit Hall. Bibi Dong's ugly face and hypocritical tone disgusted Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu pursed her lips tightly and looked at Bibi Dong with complicated eyes, with mixed feelings in her heart. The death of her mother has always been a pain in her heart, and it is also an insurmountable gap between her and Bibi Dong. But, as Tang San said, the current overall situation is more important. They need to rely on Bibi Dong's power to fight against the powerful Wuhan Empire and avenge Daming, Erming, Flanders, Liu Erlong, Daimyu Bei, Oscar and those who died because of Xiao Han and Jinring Su. Bibi Dong, I admit that I can't let go of my mother's death. But more people I care about died because of Xiao Han and Jinring Su, so I am willing to put aside my personal grudges temporarily and fight side by side with you. This does not mean that I will forget the past. In the future, if there is a chance in the future, I will still seek justice from my mother. After hearing Xiao Wu's bold words, Bibi Dong's eyes flashed with a barely perceptible sadness, but then she regained her calm. She understood Xiao Wu's position and admired her honesty and courage. However, she didn't take Tang San and Xiao Wu to heart at all. With her strength, killing these two people is as easy as crushing an ant. For Yu Xiaogang's sake, she would not bother with him. Xiao Wu, I admire your honesty. Don't worry, although Bibi Dong, am not a good person, I also value trust. After dealing with Xiao Han and those people from the Spirit Hall, if you still want to seek revenge from me, I will be waiting for you at any time. Bibi Dong also had her own calculations. If Xiao Wu overestimated her own abilities in the future and really wanted to seek revenge from her, then she could take advantage of the situation and deal with Xiao Wu. Tang San silently watched Xiao Wu from the side, with a heavy heart. He knew how difficult it was for Xiao Wu to make such a choice. But the current situation forced them to do so. Tang San and Xiao Wu returned to their residence. The dim light in the house sprinkled down, adding a touch of warmth to this quiet space. Xiao Wu sat on the bed, her hands wrapped around her knees, her eyes still showing disgust and resentment towards Bibi Dong. Tang San stood beside her, his eyes gentle and firm. Xiao Wu, I know you feel bad. What Bibi Dong did is unforgivable. But now, we have to be patient. Xiao Wu lowered her head, her fingers unconsciously stroking the corners of her clothes, her voice slightly choked. I really hate her. Every time I see her face, I think of my mother. But Tang San squatted down, reached out, gently held Xiao Wu's hand, and comforted her. I understand that this contradictory mood makes you very painful. After all this is over, no matter what you want to do, I will support you, even if it is to face Bibi Dong. Xiao Wu raised her head, and Tang San's firm figure was reflected in her tearful eyes. Brother, thank you. With you here, I think I can get through this. If there is still a chance, I must personally seek justice from my mother. Tang San nodded, with a trace of determination in his eyes. Don't worry, that day won't be too far away, brother, I believe in you. Xiao Wu forced a smile on her face, not letting Tang San worry. She believed that there would be a day to avenge Bibi Dong. Hulina, Ziyu and Yan stood in the hall. Bibi Dong sat on the Pope's chair. She received news that Yu Guan and Ji Yuimei chose to stay in Wuhan City and would not surrender to her. A cold chill emanated from her body, causing the temperature in the hall to drop sharply. Hulina, Ziyu and Yan shivered involuntarily. They had never seen Bibi Dong so angry. "You Guan, Gui Mei, you two traitors," Bibi Dong's voice was low and full of anger. "When I was the Pope of Wuhan Hall, I treated you too well. I thought you could understand the current situation, but I didn't expect you to be so short-sighted." Bibi Dong waved her sleeves violently, and a cold wind suddenly blew in the hall. Hulina and the other two lowered their heads quickly, not daring to look directly into Bibi Dong's eyes that were almost spitting fire. The two elders, Yu Guan and Gimi, had always treated the three of them well and watched them grow up. Especially to Hulina, they treated her like their own granddaughter. The three of them never thought that there would be a day when they would become enemies with the two elders. "Wuhan City, it's just a rotten cage. Do you think you can live the rest of your life there?" Bibi Dong sneered repeatedly, her facial expression slightly distorted by anger. "For the glory and wealth given by Wuhan Hall, since you chose to betray me, don't blame me for being ruthless." Bibi Dong suddenly stood up and swept her eyes over Hulina and the other two like a knife. "Remember, the three of you, from now on, Yu Guan and Gimi are also enemies of our new Wuhan Hall. If you see them on the battlefield, don't think of the old friendship." "Yes, Your Holiness." Hulina and the other two felt their hearts tighten, and dared not to refute anything. Bibi Dong looked at them, the anger in her eyes slightly subsided, but her tone was still cold. "Very good. What I need is absolute loyalty. Anyone who betrays me will not have a good end. You three are the future of the new Spirit Hall. Don't let me down. Please rest assured, Your Holiness, we have no second thoughts about you." Bibi Dong nodded with satisfaction. "Nana, at the opening ceremony tomorrow, I will anoint you as the saint of the new Spirit Hall, and you will be my successor in the future. Thank you for your cultivation, Your Holiness." "Okay, all of you go down and prepare for the opening ceremony tomorrow." The next day, at dawn, the sky above the city of Mekang was shrouded in a layer of light golden light. The city was bustling with people, and tens of thousands of soul masters gathered in the square in the center of the city. Their eyes were full of anticipation and enthusiasm, and they were about to witness this historic moment together, the opening ceremony of the new Spirit Hall. Representatives of the new 7 major forces, the Holy Dragon Sect, the Elephant Armor Sect, the Black Tiger Sect, the Wind Sword Sect, the Fire Leopard Sect, the Rock Antelope Sect, and the Sparrow Bee Sect, stood in the front row. They each led their elite soul masters to express their firm support for Bibi Dong with practical actions. As a melodious and solemn bell sounded, the entire square fell into a brief silence, and everyone's eyes were focused on the platform. Bibi Dong, wearing a gorgeous pope robe, a crown inlaid with gems, and holding a scepter, slowly stepped into the center of the platform. Her every step seemed steady and powerful, as if the once high and mighty Pope of the Spirit Hall had returned. As everyone held their breath and waited, Bibi Dong slowly said, "Today, the new Spirit Hall is officially established. It will no longer be the Spirit Hall of the past, but a new dawn in the Spirit Master world. We will write our own glorious chapter together." Bibi Dong's voice was powerful and clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. As soon as the voice fell, thunderous applause and cheers broke out in the square. The Spirit Masters were so excited that they could not express it in words. They believed that under Bibi Dong's leadership, the new Spirit Hall would usher an unprecedented prosperity. Chapter 188 The Deep Sea Demonic Whale King. Then, Bibi Dong turned around and announced to Yu Xiaogang, who was waiting on the side. Yu Xiaogang has outstanding wisdom and a deep understanding of the theory of martial spirits, and is therefore known as the theoretical master of the Spirit Master world. From today on, he is appointed as the chief elder of the new Spirit Hall, and will lead the future of the new Spirit Hall with me. This move shocked everyone present. Yu Xiaogang's strength is not strong, but his research and insights on martial spirits are unmatched. This is Bibi Dong's personal decision, and no one dares to refute it. Next, I have another important announcement. Hulina, come forward. As Bibi Dong's words fell, the entire square fell into a brief silence again. Everyone's eyes were focused on Hulina beside her. Hulina was wearing an exquisite dress, and the golden lines sparkled in the sun. "Hulina, you have shown extraordinary talent and wisdom since you were young, and your loyalty to the Spirit Hall is impeccable. Today, I am here to enthrone you as the Holy Maiden of the new Spirit Hall, and you will take on more responsibilities in the future." Hulina knelt on one knee, crossed her hands in front of her chest, bowed her head and responded respectfully, "Thank you, His Holiness, for your trust and cultivation. Hulina will do her best to live up to your expectations. Bibi Dong nodded with satisfaction, then swept her eyes to the representatives of the 7 major sects below the stage, and her voice rang out again. Master of the Holy Dragon Sect, Master of the Elephant Armor Sect, Master of the Black Tiger Sect, Master of the Wind Sword Sect, Master of the Fire Leopard Sect, Master of the Rock Antelope Sect, and Master of the Sparrow Bee Sect. You each lead a powerful sect and are loyal to me. Today, I am here to enthrone you as the elders of the new Spirit Hall, and I hope we can work together to create a bright future for the new Spirit Hall. Thank you, His Holiness. The 7 sect masters stepped forward, knelt on one knee, and accepted the enthronement. As the enthronement ceremony ended, unprecedented cheers broke out in the square, and the Soul Masters raised their arms and cheered to celebrate the establishment of the new Wuhan Hall. From this day on, a new Wuhan Hall headed by Bibi Dong appeared in Douluo continent. This huge force is very likely to change the pattern of Douluo continent. The news of the establishment of the new Wuhan Hall quickly spread throughout the Wuhan Empire and the Xingluo Empire. Xiao Han and Jin Ringsu soon got the news. The two discussed the next countermeasures. Jin Ringsu frowned, angry and a little worried. Damn Bibi Dong. She actually named her force the new Wuhan Hall, and used the name of the Wuhan Hall to recruit Soul Masters. It's so shameless. The establishment of the new Wuhan Hall has undoubtedly caused a huge obstacle to her plan to conquer the Xingluo Empire. Xiao Han seemed relatively calm, as if everything was within his expectations. Bibi Dong cared too much about Yu Xia Gang. For Yu Xia Gang, she could do anything crazy. Indeed, Bibi Dong's move was a brilliant one, giving the Xingluo Empire a chance to breathe. Most of the forces that originally supported her were in the Xingluo Empire, so now they are really in the same nest. Then what do you think we should do next? Xiao Han thought about it and analyzed seriously. I think that the top priority now is not to attack rashly, but to consolidate the land we have occupied. As the saying goes, he who wins the hearts of the people wins the world. After all, those 3 cities were taken from the Xingluo Empire. We must appease the people, implement benevolent policies, and let them feel the tolerance and care of the Wuhan Empire. Let everyone in the world know that the Wuhan Hall unified the entire Douluo continent in order to achieve a peaceful and beautiful vision. Only in this way can we truly win without fighting and let the people of the Xingluo Empire voluntarily submit. After listening to Xiao Han's words, Jin Ringsu's eyes flashed with a hint of approval. This plan is great. In this way, we can not only consolidate the existing territory, but also gradually weaken the people's hearts in the Xingluo Empire and lay the foundation for the future unification. That's right. Besides, Bibi Dong has just established a new Spirit Hall, which will definitely cause turmoil within the Spirit Hall. Let's stabilize the situation first. Yes, that's what I mean. Xiao Han continued, my spirit power is about to break through level 90. After I obtain the 9th spirit ring, it won't be too late to help you destroy Bibi Dong's forces, okay? I didn't expect that you would be promoted to title Douluo so soon. Your 7th and 8th spirit rings have reached the level of 100,000 years. The age of the 9th spirit ring must be at least 100,000 years, right? Yes, Jin Ringsu continued to ask. 100,000-year spirit beast is not that easy to find. Where are you going to hunt spirit beasts? Xingda Great Forest or Frozen Forest? Xiao Han shook his head. Not to those 2 forests, but to the sea area of Sea God Island. For the upcoming 9th spirit ring, Xiao Han already has a clear goal in mind, which is the million-year-old deep-sea demon whale king in the sea area. It's just right to go and see Shuibinger and the others. What is Sea God Island? Jin Ringsu looked at Xiao Han with a puzzled look. It is a mysterious sea area. There are many titled Douluo level masters on the island, and there is also a peerless Douluo who is as famous as your grandfather. Then, Xiao Han briefly described Sea God Island to Jin Ringsu, and told her that Bingbinger and others were training on Sea God Island. Jin Ringsu was shocked. I never thought that there would be such a mysterious sea area on Douluo continent. From what you said, there seem to be many 100,000 grade soul beasts in that sea area. Hunting one for soul rings should not be a problem. Do you need me to send someone to go with you? No, my mother will accompany me, okay. Even if you are alone, you can kill 100,000 grade soul beast. However, with Dean Lin here, he can protect you when you absorb soul rings, which is safer. Then I will wait for you to return safely. Well, I will go and come back quickly. Xiao Han didn't want to make Jin Ringsu worry, so he didn't tell him that the real target was the million-year-old deep-sea demon whale king. A month later, Xiao Han's spirit power broke through the 90th level. He returned to his home in Xianxia City. Lin Zhiruo was surprised and delighted to learn of Xiao Han's progress. Xiao Han has grown into a strong man who is about to enter the title Douluo realm. Looking at Xiao Han, Lin Zhiruo's eyes were full of pride and relief. Xiao Han, you have really grown up. Xiao Han smiled and held his mother's hand. Mom, this is all your credit. Without your teaching and support, I would not have achieved what I have today. Lin Zhiruo shook her head, tears flashing in her eyes. No, you have achieved it through your own efforts. I have always believed that you have talents and perseverance beyond ordinary people. Now, you are about to face a more difficult challenge, but I believe that you will succeed. Mom, this time when we go to the Sea God Island, in addition to obtaining the 9th spirit ring, we can also go to see Binger and the others, okay? Unknowingly, more than a year has passed, and I really miss them a little bit. The next day, the two set out from Xianxia City and headed for Hanhei City. Chapter 189 Come and take your spirit ring. It was already evening when Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo arrived at Hanhei City. The afterglow of the setting sun sprinkled on this prosperous coastal city, giving every building and every street a golden glow. Hanhei City, as one of the few cities directly facing the sea on Douluo continent, is not only prosperous in commerce due to its geographical location, but also particularly unique because of its close connection with sea soul masters. On both sides of the street, various shops display rare treasures from the depths of the ocean. Xiao Han took Lin Zhiruo to an auction house specializing in selling sailing equipment. A sailing device that looks like a dragon abyss boat but is smaller and more flexible attracted his attention. This sailing device is called Sea Spirit Boat and is made of a rare lightweight metal mixed with special materials. Not only can it shuttle quickly on the sea, but it can also withstand the strong pressure in the deep sea to a certain extent. It is an excellent tool for exploring the sea. Xiao Han took a picture of it without hesitation for travel. Early the next morning, Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo came to the beach. Xiao Han found the old captain who sent him and Shui Binger out to sea last time, and prepared to go out to sea. After more than a year, the old captain was a little surprised to see Xiao Han again. Respected Soul Master, didn't you go to the sea area of the Sea God Island? I have been there. Those girls stayed there to train, and I didn't go with them. I see. So where are you going this time? Xiao Han smiled and said, I think you should know the Demon Whale Sea area. Demon Whale Sea area. Hearing these words, the old captain was shocked. The fishermen and sea soul masters of Hanhei City have a deep respect for the Demon Whale Sea area. After all, it is the domain of the deep sea demon whale king and the burial place of countless creatures. Mr. Soul Master, are you going to the demon whale territory? That's right. Don't worry, I won't let you take risks. Just like last time, you just need to take me to the vicinity of that sea area, and I'll go the rest of the way by myself. That deep sea demon whale king is the real overlord of the ocean, and he's not easy to mess with. Well, I know my limits. Seeing Xiao Han's firm attitude, the old captain didn't say much. Set sail. As the ship slowly left the port, the sea breeze blew in with a salty and humid breath, and the waves gently hit the side of the ship, making a rhythmic sound. Golden ripples appeared on the sea, which was so beautiful that it was intoxicating. Lin Zhiruo stood at the bow, looking at the increasingly vast sea, and had an indescribable feeling in her heart. Xiao Han, this is my first time going out to sea. The sea is really beautiful, but it is also full of dangers. The deep sea demon whale king you mentioned should be much more powerful than the azure bull python, and the ocean is its territory, so it is easier for it to exert its own strength. It's not easy to deal with a soul beast like that. Xiao Han smiled indifferently. Don't worry, Mom, I have a plan. Xiao Han knew that the deep-sea demon whale king was very strong. Even the high priest of the sea god, Poseidon, who possessed the power of a demigod, was no match for it. But Xiao Han knew its weakness and could use the extremely hot and cold spring water of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire to deal with it. The ship was moving forward alone in the vast ocean. Finally, on the 10th day, it arrived near the Demon Whale Sea. Dear Soul Master, we can't go any further. The front is the territory of the deep-sea demon whale king. The old captain's voice trembled, and he was obviously full of fear of that sea area. Okay, I know. Let's stop here. Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo looked at each other. Without saying much, both of them understood that they could only rely on themselves for the rest of the journey. They said goodbye to the crew, boarded the sea spirit boat they had purchased before, and continued to head towards the deep sea according to the route marked on the nautical chart. As the sea spirit boat went deeper, the light around it became dimmer and dimmer. Xiao Han urged his soul power to control the sea spirit boat to move slowly forward in the seawater, maintaining a stable speed and direction. Xiao Han, we're getting closer, be careful, don't worry, Mom. I know my limits. The two continued to move forward cautiously. The seawater became extremely deep, and the color changed from emerald green to dark blue, as if it could swallow all the light. Xiao Han could feel a trace of soul power fluctuations deep in the sea. The deep-sea demon whale king was at the bottom of the sea. Mom, it's at the bottom of the sea, let's lure it out. Xiao Han deliberately released his soul power to stir the seawater and disturb the deep-sea demon whale king. Suddenly, a huge force came from the bottom of the sea. The sea spirit boat seemed to be lifted up by an invisible big hand, and then suddenly fell down. The huge impact force forced Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo to use their soul power to stabilize their bodies. Then, a huge figure emerged in the dark sea water. It was the deep-sea demon whale king. It was a sapphire-like color all over, and its huge body was 200 meters long. One eye was blind, leaving only one eye. The diameter of the single eye was 3 meters away, like a bright lamp, flashing a cold light. The whole thing looked extremely terrifying. The one eye stared coldly at Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo, who were standing in the air. You two weak human soul masters, you are so brave that you dare to come to my sea area to make trouble. The cold voice seemed to come from the sea area, and the strange sound waves were transmitted into the air. The air seemed to tremble slightly under its powerful pressure. Then, a huge blue light column with a diameter of 5 meters broke out of the sea without any warning and instantly came to Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo. The two had been prepared for it and did not take the light column head-on, but dodged to the left and right sides respectively. Lin Zhiruo was shocked. She could feel that the strength of this soul beast was definitely not comparable to that of the sky blue bull python. Seeing that the two human soul masters had avoided his attack so easily, the deep-sea demon whale king smiled coldly. It seems that you two are not as weak as I thought. You dare to trespass into my territory, so don't even think about leaving. Xiao Han snorted coldly. Demon whale king, since we have come to this sea area, we have never thought of leaving. To tell you the truth, I am here to take your spirit ring. If you know what's good for you, sacrifice yourself to me, and you will suffer less. Hearing this, the deep-sea demon whale king was shocked and angry. Boy, you are so arrogant. A small human spirit master dares to dream of taking my spirit ring. You are so tired of living. It seems that your spirit power is about level 90, and your physical strength is not bad. It is rare for such a young person to reach this level. Unfortunately, you are too arrogant. You dare to provoke me. You are simply overestimating yourself. Then I will eat you, just in time to replenish my body. After saying this, the deep-sea demon whale king's huge body tumbled violently in the sea. Blue and purple light shot out from its huge tail and headed straight for Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo in the air. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190. What is this ice? Facing the violent attack of the deep-sea demon whale king, Xiao Han's figure was like a ghost, easily avoiding those blue-purple lights. At the same time, his martial soul, the Bing bow and arrow, condensed in his hand. 8 soul rings surrounded his body, shining with a brilliant light of purple, black, 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 red, and red. After Xiao Han's soul power broke through the 90th level, the power of the dragon bone was released more. Under the impetus of this power, the second soul ring also transformed into the 10,000-year level, which made his strength even better. Seeing the soul rings on Xiao Han's body, the deep-sea demon whale king was shocked. It never thought that the young human soul master in front of it would have such a powerful soul ring configuration. The 200,000-year soul rings with red light meant that he had hunted at least 200,000-year level soul beasts. No wonder he had the confidence to come to this sea area. The deep-sea demon whale king was not afraid at all, but was surprised. Boy, do you think that you are qualified to challenge me after hunting 200,000-year soul beasts? My strength is not comparable to those ordinary 100,000-year soul beasts. Xiao Han snorted coldly. Of course I know your strength. You have practiced for 300,000 years, and by devouring other sea soul beasts, your cultivation has reached nearly 1,000,000 years, and you are only one step away from becoming a demon god. After hearing Xiao Han's words, the deep-sea demon whale king was shocked again. How do you know? With your current strength, it is impossible to sense my cultivation. Did the sea god send you? No. There is no sea god on this world anymore. I am the master of this ocean. Do you think that only the power of the sea god can kill you? Then you are too naive. Xiao Han knew that one of the eyes of the deep-sea demon whale king was blinded by the sea god. It feared the sea god the most and never took other opponents to heart. Underestimating the enemy is also its most fatal weakness. Seeing Xiao Han's relaxed performance, Lin Zhiruo was not so nervous. Before coming to the sea area, Xiao Han told Lin Zhiruo that she must not fight the deep-sea demon whale king head-on, but must rely on wits. Lin Zhiruo mobilized her soul power, ready to provide support to Xiao Han at any time. The deep-sea demon whale king didn't know why Xiao Han knew it so well. This young human soul master didn't seem to be afraid of it at all. Moreover, he easily dodged its first two tentative attacks. It realized that this human soul master was not simple. Boy, you have some skills, which makes me more interested in devouring you. You are much more nutritious than those 100,000 level sea soul beasts. Haha, after all, the deep-sea demon whale king is the overlord of the ocean. It quickly adjusted its state and launched a more fierce attack again. It saw its huge tail swung, and a series of thicker blue-purple lights swept in like a tornado, trying to roll Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo into it. Xiao Han snorted coldly, and his handing bow and arrow were instantly pulled to full. The arrow was condensed with extreme cold air, as if it could freeze everything. He aimed at the only remaining eye of the deep-sea demon whale king, which was also its weakness. With a simultaneous opening of the 500,000-year soul bones in the body, an invisible arrow shot out rapidly, heading straight for the deep-sea demon whale king's single eye. Although the deep-sea demon whale king could not see the invisible arrow clearly, it sensed the danger with its powerful mental power. It was startled and hurriedly turned its huge body. At the same time, it pushed its soul power to form a blue light curtain around its body, trying to block the attack of the invisible arrow. Xiao Han's invisible arrow had strong penetrating power. The moment it hit the blue light curtain, a loud noise broke out. The charged attack left a crack on the light curtain. Impossible, the deep-sea demon whale king roared. It couldn't believe that the attack of a human soul master could threaten its defense. Demon whale king, your defense is just like this. Before Xiao Han finished speaking, he pulled his handing bow and arrow to its full strength again, and another invisible arrow shot out, pointing directly at the crack of the light curtain. Looking for death, the deep-sea demon whale king roared, and its huge body rolled in the seawater, raising huge waves. It swung its huge tail violently, and thunder and lightning intertwined, like a punishment from heaven, pointing directly at Xiao Han. However, Xiao Han's body was as fast as lightning, and he lightly dodged this devastating blow. At the same time, the Zhenbing bow in his hand was fully drawn again, and his eyes were cold and firm. Do you think you can escape like this? The voice of the deep-sea demon whale king echoed in the sea, full of anger and unwillingness. I am the overlord of the ocean, and no one can defeat me. Xiao Han raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth, without saying a word, but aimed at the deep-sea demon whale king more attentively. He knew that his strength was not as good as the deep-sea demon whale king, and he could not fight it head-on. But fortunately, he had a strong long-range attack ability. He always kept a proper distance from the deep-sea demon whale king, which could not only effectively avoid its powerful attacks, but also launched long-range attacks at it. Xiao Han had some understanding of the deep-sea demon whale king's abilities, knew all its attack methods and defense strategies, and could play to its strengths and avoid its weaknesses. Therefore, he deliberately angered it and made it attack continuously to consume it. Then, he took advantage of its weakness to give it a fatal blow. This was Xiao Han's combat strategy. This was also the reason why he dared to challenge the deep-sea demon whale king. The deep-sea demon whale king was angered again. At the moment when the giant tail of thunder and lightning was about to hit Xiao Han, his figure flashed strangely and appeared on the other side of the deep-sea demon whale king. At the same time, the invisible arrow that condensed the extreme icy energy penetrated the blockade of thunder and lightning and accurately shot the giant tail of the deep-sea demon whale king. The deep-sea demon whale king laughed loudly and said, "Boy, do you think this little attack can hurt me? You are so naive. The deep-sea demon whale king's body was too huge, and even if it was shot, the wound on the giant tail was insignificant, just like being stung. Just when it was proud, it suddenly felt something strange in its body. The wound froze instantly, and the power of ice spread along the wound and began to erode its body. Impossible. How could I be hurt by a human soul master? What kind of ice is this? The deep-sea demon whale king roared, trying to use his powerful soul power to dispel the ice. But that was extreme ice. In the blink of an eye, the several meters of the whale's tail that was hit by the ice arrow were all frozen. The part of the tail that was partially frozen completely lost consciousness. Although it was not the entire tail, the deep-sea demon whale king still felt threatened. Xiao Han's attack did not stop. The freezing skill was activated, and a huge ice arrow was shot into the sea around the deep-sea demon whale king. The huge ice arrow carried a bone-chilling coldness, and the seawater was instantly solidified wherever the arrow passed. Although the deep-sea demon whale king sensed the danger and tried to dodge. But how could its huge body be faster than the arrow? The ice arrow fell into the seawater next to the deep-sea demon whale king. The extreme ice power instantly erupted, quickly spreading around, freezing the surrounding seawater into huge ice blocks. The huge body of the deep-sea demon whale king was suddenly wrapped in a thick layer of ice. Chapter 191 A Tough Opponent. The body of the deep-sea demon whale king was frozen by the extreme ice and could not move. However, it was unwilling to be bound like this. With a deafening roar, the huge body of the deep-sea demon whale king shook violently, as if the entire ocean was trembling. With amazing strength, it broke free from the ice cage carefully arranged by Xiao Han. However, this was not without cost. Its tough skin was now covered with frostbite left by the extreme ice. Long and thin scratches were like cracked ice, oozing out strands of cold. "Boy, you dare to hurt me," the deep-sea demon whale king roared, with anger and unwillingness in his voice. Its single eye was like a burning torch, staring at Xiao Han in the air, wanting to devour him to relieve the hatred in its heart. Xiao Han did not give it a chance to breathe. The seventh soul ring suddenly flashed, and the 100,000-year soul ring emitted a heart-pounding red light. In the state of the weapon soul's true body, the second soul skill, 10,000 arrows, was launched instantly. The sky was suddenly filled with dense arrows. These arrows were not ordinary arrows. Each of them was wrapped with the extreme cold and extreme heat of the two dragon kings. The rain of arrows poured down like a tide, carrying a destructive breath, and went straight to the deep-sea demon whale king. The deep-sea demon whale king could only wave his giant tail in a hurry to try to resist the overwhelming attack. However, these arrows were too dense and contained the fusion of two extreme powers. Even its tough leather armor could not completely resist it. The arrows fell on its body like raindrops, and every crisp sound was accompanied by the wailing of the deep-sea demon whale king. The extreme cold and extreme heat penetrated its body through those tiny wounds, and the poison began to spread in its blood, causing it unbearable pain. What the hell is this? The deep-sea demon whale king roared. Its body began to tremble uncontrollably, which was the fear and pain from the depths of its soul. Xiao Han's strength far exceeded its expectations. It had never encountered such a strange and powerful attack method. Faced with this sudden change, the deep-sea demon whale king finally realized the seriousness of the matter. It dared not underestimate the enemy anymore. The huge body suddenly kicked in the seawater, and it was like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, rising directly from the sea surface and rushing into the sky. In the sky, the dark clouds seemed to sense the call of the deep-sea demon whale king, and quickly gathered to form a huge vortex. 9 lightning bolts as thick as water tanks came down like pillars of heavenly punishment, and fell accurately on the body of the deep-sea demon whale king. Under the baptism of these 9 lightning bolts, the body of the deep-sea demon whale king began to emit a faint golden light. It was an almost sacred breath, and any external attack seemed to be blocked by this layer of golden light and could not get close at all. "Boy, you are dreaming if you want to defeat me," the voice of the deep-sea demon whale king echoed in the sky, with a hint of pride and determination. It knew that in order to fight against Xiao Han, it had to pay a huge price. Transforming into human form was the best strategy it could think of at the moment. As the deep-sea demon whale king finished his words, its huge body seemed to be compressed by an invisible force and began to shrink sharply. A huge lightning vortex formed above the sea. When the vortex finally dissipated, the figure of the deep-sea demon whale king had undergone earth-shaking changes. It turned into a 3-meter-tall, burly middle-aged man with a healthy brown skin, clear muscle lines, and a sense of explosive power. His one eye still maintained the unique depth and coldness of the deep-sea demon whale king, revealing a majesty that should not be underestimated. After transforming into human form, the deep-sea demon whale king's body was no longer as strong as before, and its overall strength seemed to have decreased a lot. But in fact, this form made it more flexible and easier to avoid Xiao Han's precise and deadly arrow attacks. HMPH, kid, do you think you can defeat me by forcing me to transform into human form? The voice of the deep-sea demon whale king sounded in Xiao Han's ears, with a bit of sneer and provocation. In human form, my speed will no longer be limited, and I still have more means that I haven't used yet. Xiao Han smiled indifferently. Of course, he knew that although the deep-sea demon whale king lost some of his physical strength after transforming into human form, he was better in flexibility, speed and skill use. Then let me see how powerful your so-called more means are. Xiao Han's mouth curled up a sneer, and his eyes flashed with determination. The deep-sea demon whale king transformed into human form, which was exactly what he wanted to see. He still had a biggest killer that he hadn't used, which was the ice and fire yin-yang field. The deep-sea demon whale king's huge body was more than 200 meters. If the ice and fire yin-yang field was used to besiege it, it would consume a lot of Xiao Han's mental and soul power. If it could not be completely defeated, then this hunting mission would fail. It might also put himself in danger. However, after transforming into human form, the deep-sea demon whale king not only lost its powerful strength, but also shrank dramatically. In this case, Xiao Han only needed to consume less mental and soul power to trap it. At this time, the deep-sea demon whale king was wearing a strange dark purple armor, and no gaps could be seen on his body. At the same time, a huge dark purple vortex appeared behind it. The vortex floated from behind it to the front, turning into a fist-sized gem, embedded in the center of its chest armor. The gem flashed with rotating energy, which looked very strange. Seeing this scene, Xiao Han seemed particularly calm. He knew that the deep-sea demon whale king had completed the energy armoring, compressing the energy that could not be completely solidified into the body into armor and wearing it on the body. Only by approaching the realm of God can this feat be accomplished. However, with the current ability of the deep-sea demon whale king, it can only armor the energy, but cannot make it completely integrated with the body. Xiao Han confronted the deep-sea demon whale king in the air, without fear. The main attribute of the deep-sea demon whale king is water, and the secondary attribute is thunder and lightning. Neither of these two attributes can pose a threat to Xiao Han. Go to hell, the deep-sea demon whale king roared, and purple balls of light were released from it, instantly covering an area of hundreds of square meters. The appearance of those balls of light turned the area around the deep-sea demon whale king purple. The entire space was trembling slightly under the powerful energy fluctuations. Thousands of purple balls of light fell from the sky like a meteor shower, and each one locked onto Xiao Han. Xiao Han knew that those balls of light were made of a fusion of water and thunder, and would explode after a collision, thus releasing a terrifying attack force. Chapter 192, The Power of the Dragon King Determines Victory. Facing the overwhelming energy ball attack of the deep-sea demon whale king, which was a fusion of water and thunder, Xiao Han knew that dodging was useless. At this critical moment, he decisively activated the skill attached to the 100,000-year-old left arm soul bone, absolute defense. In an instant, a layer of indestructible blue ice tightly wrapped his whole body, as if he was wearing a heavy ice crystal armor. But this is not an ordinary ice layer. It combines the evil god protection of the dark demon evil god tiger, so that the surface of this layer of blue ice is covered with a layer of blue-gray mysterious light shield, which builds a solid protection for Xiao Han. This not only greatly enhances the defense, but also prolongs the duration of absolute defense. At the same time, Xiao Han did not stop the pace of counterattack. In the state of the weapon's soul true body, he quickly condensed his soul power and activated the fifth soul skill, Blizzard Arrow. With a low roar, a huge ice and snow vortex suddenly formed around him, with the momentum of destroying the world. This vortex of ice and snow not only contained extreme coldness, but also generated a strong suction force through the power of high-speed rotation, sucking in the dense and whistling energy balls one by one, as if to devour them all. However, the changes did not stop there. Just as the vortex of ice and snow and the energy balls were fiercely fighting, a more bizarre force quietly emerged. The originally azure vortex of ice and snow was suddenly infected by a deep black and turned into blue-black, like the deepest ink in the night sky, and the darkest light in the abyss. At the critical moment, Xiao Han integrated the power of the Dark Demon Evil God Pearl into it. The Dark Demon Evil God Pearl not only contained a trace of the power of the evil god, but also possessed multiple attributes of thunder, wind, power, space, and time. It merged with Xiao Han's ice attribute to produce a powerful and strange energy. Under the blessing of the power of the Dark Demon Evil God Pearl, the volume of the vortex of ice and snow suddenly expanded, and the speed of rotation became more and more amazing. It seemed to have turned into a huge demon's eye, staring at everything in the sea area, ready to devour everything it saw. Those energy balls, which were originally formed by the fusion of water and thunder, were like a drop in the ocean after coming into contact with a blue-black vortex. There was no sound at all, and they were completely swallowed and digested, and transformed into more powerful energy in the vortex. The deep-sea demon whale king witnessed this scene, and a look of disbelief flashed in his eyes. It never thought that Xiao Han would also master the power of devouring. Moreover, this devouring power also contained evil and power that made it feel palpitating. Why do you have such power? Could it be, you are the inheritor of a certain god? The voice of the deep-sea demon whale king was filled with shock and fear that could not be concealed. It began to realize that the young man in front of it might not be an opponent it could easily defeat. Xiao Han sneered and did not directly answer the question of the deep-sea demon whale king. The battle is far from over, and we cannot take it lightly. We must find the right time to give the opponent a fatal blow. It doesn't matter whether you are the inheritor of the gods or not. What matters is that today, you will definitely lose to me. Before he finished speaking, Xiao Han moved and took the initiative to attack. In the state of absolute defense, he rushed straight to the human form of the deep-sea demon whale king. You are looking for death? The deep-sea demon whale king was not to be outdone, and purple light burst out from his body. A powerful purple halo rippled from the armor on his chest. Xiao Han knew that this was the domain skill of the deep-sea demon whale king, which had a stun effect. But he was not afraid at all. Absolute defense can resist all attacks below the god level. Although this state can only last for tens of seconds, it is enough for him. At the moment of approaching the purple halo, a red light and a nice blue light burst out from Xiao Han. The two lights intertwined with each other, and suddenly formed an ice-fire domain. This domain has a powerful dragon bone power, which is both extremely cold and extremely hot. The two extreme powers blended with each other to form an unprecedented destructive force. Seeing this, the deep-sea demon whale king did not dare to be careless and quickly mobilized all his soul power to prepare for this fatal blow. The gem embedded in the center of the chest armor flashed a more dazzling light, as if providing it with endless power. The two opposing forces collided in the air, and instantly burst into dazzling light and deafening roars. The entire space was shaking, and the waves were lifted hundreds of meters high. Suddenly, the deep-sea demon whale king was shocked to find that he was trapped in the light of extreme cold and extreme heat. How is this possible? The deep-sea demon whale king's eyes were full of shock. It never thought that one day it would be trapped in the hands of a seemingly ordinary human young soul master. Under the terrifying power of the ice and fire yin-yang domain, the deep-sea demon whale king felt that the space around him seemed to be solidified. The double impact of extreme cold and extreme heat was like thousands of sharp blades, constantly cutting its soul and body. Cracks began to appear on the energy armor on the surface of its body. Although the gem embedded in the chest armor continued to shine, trying to provide it with resistance, it seemed powerless in the face of the violent energy of ice and fire, and the light gradually dimmed. The deep-sea demon whale king felt that his power was being quickly consumed by this powerful domain power. It realized that it was facing an unprecedented crisis. At this moment of life and death, the deep-sea demon whale king burst into a final roar. It tried to break free from the shackles that bound its fate. At this moment, an ice arrow shot without warning and hit the deep-sea demon whale king's head accurately. At the moment of collision, the ice arrow exploded with a deafening roar. The entire sea area was shocked again. Under the powerful explosive force, the deep-sea demon whale king's head armor exploded. In a flash, the ice and fire yin and yang divine light shot out from Xiao Han's eyes and locked onto the single eye of the deep-sea demon whale king. Without the protection of the head armor, the yin and yang divine light directly shot through the single eye. Ouch! The deep-sea demon whale king screamed in pain, exerted all his strength, and transformed into a 200-meter-long demon whale king again, falling into the sea. However, Lin Zhiruo was well prepared. The freezing skill was activated. The seawater within a range of 200 meters below the deep-sea demon whale king was instantly frozen. Boom! the huge body of the deep-sea demon whale king slammed heavily on the ice. The moment the ice broke, Xiao Han also activated the freezing skill and froze the deep-sea demon whale king again. Go to hell, the deep-sea demon whale king was blinded, and while it was breathing, an arrow wrapped in the ice and fire yin-yang ice spring water was shot out and hit the valve on its head. Chapter 193 Million-Year-Old Trunk Bone. The arrow penetrated the valve, and the huge body of the deep-sea demon whale king trembled suddenly, then collapsed, no longer as powerful as before. The ice and fire yin-yang ice spring water carried by the arrow was like a deadly poison, quickly eroding its last vitality. The two extreme properties of ice and fire in the spring water raged wildly in the body of the deep-sea demon whale king, intertwined and conflicted with each other, forming an unprecedented destructive force. Half of the body was frozen by the extreme cold, and the other half was burned by the extreme fire. The body of the deep-sea demon whale king began to tremble violently, and it seemed that countless ice and fire were wandering under the skin, tearing its flesh and blood. Its scales, which were originally as hard as iron, became fragile under the erosion of ice and fire, and fell off one after another, revealing the bloody flesh inside. Its eyes were blind, but the pain and despair were clearly reflected in its remaining consciousness. The deep-sea demon whale king let out bursts of shrill wails, and his voice was full of fear of death and desire for life. But the sound became weaker and weaker until it was replaced by the roar of ice and fire. The power of ice and fire reached its peak in the body of the deep-sea demon whale king, and its body began to swell, as if it could not withstand the impact of this power. With a deafening explosion, the middle part of the deep-sea demon whale king's body exploded, turning into countless fragments and splashing in all directions. The entire sea area seemed to be shocked by this power of ice and fire. The waves rolled more violently. The sky was covered with dark clouds, lightning and thunder, as if even the heaven and earth were mourning the fall of the deep-sea demon whale king. When everything returned to calm, only the broken body of the deep-sea demon whale king and a mess remained on the sea. The sea area baptized by ice and fire was filled with a strong smell of blood and burnt. On the sea, the frozen ice layer gradually cracked, and huge cracks spread out. It's over, Xiao Han was suspended in the air, watching all this coldly, without any fluctuation in his eyes. Lin Zhiruo flew over with a look of relief on her face. Xiao Han, you succeeded. Xiao Han nodded and gathered his soul power. Although he succeeded in killing the deep-sea demon whale king, this battle was also very exhausting for him. The two slowly landed on the ice. Although the deep-sea demon whale king was dead, the huge energy in its body did not dissipate so quickly. Xiao Han consumed a lot of soul power, so he could take the opportunity to absorb some to recover. Mom, I'll absorb some energy first. This guy's energy is too huge. After I devour some, I'll help you absorb it together. Maybe I can help you break through the 90th level directly, okay? Lin Zhiruo waited by the side with some expectation. Then, Xiao Han released the devouring power of the dark demon evil god Pearl and began to absorb the energy of the deep-sea demon whale king. 1,000,000 years of cultivation is extraordinary. During the absorption process, Xiao Han could clearly feel that his soul power was recovering at an astonishing speed. In just about 10 minutes, Xiao Han's soul power had recovered to its peak state. Mom, I have recovered to my best condition. Now I will inject some of the energy of the deep-sea demon whale king into you. And then help you absorb the energy, Xiao Han said, and released two blue-black flames from his palms. One side connected to Lin Zhiruo's right palm, and the other side connected to the body of the deep-sea demon whale king. Xiao Han absorbed the energy of the deep-sea demon whale king, and after transformation, slowly transferred it to Lin Zhiruo. After all, Lin Zhiruo has not reached the tidal Douluo realm, and this huge energy has a great impact on her. Therefore, under Xiao Han's control, the energy injection is relatively slow. Time passed by minute. Lin Zhiruo suddenly opened her eyes. Xiao Han, it's enough. If I absorb more, I'm afraid my body can't bear it, okay? Xiao Han restrained his soul power. Mom, how do you feel? Lin Zhiruo said happily. As you expected, my soul power has successfully broken through the level 90 barrier, great. After I absorb this soul ring, I will go with you to find a suitable soul beast. There are many 100,000-year-old sea soul beasts in this sea area. Not only can you be promoted to title Douluo, you will also have your own 100,000-year-old soul ring soon. Xiao Han was happy for Lin Zhiruo. A wisp of mist rose from the corpse of the deep-sea demon whale king and slowly condensed above the sea. The soul ring of this million-year-old soul beast is condensing and forming. A million-year cultivation is naturally extraordinary. This process is much longer and more complicated than that of an ordinary soul ring. Before the soul ring is fully condensed, Xiao Han decided to take the lead. He knew that the most precious thing on the deep-sea demon whale king was not only the million-year-old soul ring, but also a million-year-old soul bone. In addition, the huge head also contained priceless treasures, whale brain and whale pearl. Xiao Han shot an ice explosion arrow at the head of the deep-sea demon whale king. The arrow hit the head of the deep-sea demon whale king. With a deafening explosion, the head of the deep-sea demon whale king was instantly blown apart. A golden light came into the eyes of the two. A faint fragrance filled the air. Although the deep-sea demon whale king's head is big, the whale brain is not big, less than 1 square meter. The ball of whale brain is like melted gold, in a paste form. The golden light and fresh fragrance are emitted from the whale brain. In the middle of the whale brain, there is a fist-sized bead that exudes purple and gold. Xiao Han knew that it was the whale pearl. It condenses the essence of the deep-sea demon whale king's life. Seeing this scene, Lin Zhiruo was a little curious. Xiao Han, what is this? This yellow paste is whale brain, which has high medicinal value. That bead is a whale pearl, which is somewhat similar to the dark demon evil god pearl, and condenses the essence of the deep-sea demon whale king. However, it is not easy to absorb, but it also has wonderful uses, Xiao Han said, and lightly sucked the whale pearl into his hand. It felt a little soft. Without thinking too much, Xiao Han stored it in the soul guide. Then, he mobilized his soul power and absorbed the paste like whale brain into the soul guide. Mom, the soul ring of the deep-sea demon whale king has not yet condensed into shape. I will absorb its soul bone first. Have you seen the soul bone? Yes, it's in its body, Xiao Han said, pulled the bowstring, and shot an ice explosion arrow at the back of the deep-sea demon whale king. Another explosion sounded. The back of the deep-sea demon whale king was blown open. A soul bone emitting purple light was revealed. It was crystal clear all over, like a purple crystal. This was a trunk bone, containing extremely powerful energy. The energy released from it formed a small purple vortex, gently lifting it up. Chapter 194, Transformation, Peak Douluo. Lin Zhiruo was a little shocked at the scene. What a powerful energy, Mom, I'll fuse it now. Well, you already have 5 100,000 level soul bones, and you only need 1 more. This torso bone is just right, Xiao Han nodded, then urged his soul power and sucked the soul bone into his hand. Without any hesitation, he immediately sat cross-legged, closed his eyes and concentrated, and began the fusion process. An unprecedented huge energy instantly poured into Xiao Han's body, like a violent torrent, trying to break through every vein in his body. The strength of this energy was far beyond anything Xiao Han had experienced before, and his body seemed to be cut by thousands of sharp blades at the same time. Xiao Han gritted his teeth, and the dragon bone power in his body automatically operated. The dragon bone power was like a solid dam, compressing this violent energy, and finally slowly merged into his blood. As time passed, the violent energy gradually subsided, turning into a stream of warm currents, flowing through Xiao Han's limbs. Finally succeeded, Xiao Han opened his eyes, felt a huge new power in his body, and showed a satisfied smile. Lin Zhiruo was a little excited. Xiao Han, you finally woke up. Just as the two were immersed in the joy of fusing the million-year soul bone, the soul ring condensed by the soul power of the deep-sea demon whale king on the sea finally took shape. This is a golden soul ring, more dazzling than any other soul ring. It exudes a warm and sacred glow, and seems to contain endless power. Mom, the soul ring is complete. I will start absorbing it. It may take several days. It's okay. Go. I'll protect you. Xiao Han nodded, took a deep breath, and looked at the golden soul ring with a firm gaze. He came under the soul ring, closed his eyes and concentrated, and devoted himself to absorbing it. With the integration of the soul ring energy, Xiao Han seemed to be in a golden world, surrounded by warm and pure energy. These energies traveled in his body, perfectly integrated with his soul and soul power, bringing unprecedented comfort. However, as the soul ring's energy penetrated deeper, Xiao Han also felt unprecedented pressure. Fortunately, with the power of dragon bones in his body, even the most violent energy could be suppressed. Time passed day by day. From day to night, then to day, And then tonight, Xiao Han just sat quietly on the sea, fighting silently with a million-year soul ring. Finally, on the morning of the 8th day, when the first ray of sunlight floated over the sea and fell on Xiao Han, he suddenly opened his eyes. In those eyes, a golden light flashed. Xiao Han let out a long breath, and a satisfied smile appeared on his face again. He felt that his soul power had undergone earth-shaking changes, from the original level 90 to level 96. This is a qualitative leap, which means that he is already a peak powerhouse. Xiao Han, you really did it. Seeing Xiao Han wake up, Lin Zhiruo was very relieved. Mom, you look haggard. Thank you for your hard work. By the way, how long did it take me to absorb this spirit ring? 7 whole days and 7 nights, it took so long. Hard work pays off. It has brought me a huge improvement. How many levels has your spirit power increased? Lin Zhiruo asked impatiently. Xiao Han smiled. Mom, my spirit power has increased several levels at once. Now it is level 96. Level 96? Oh my god. It has increased so much? Lin Zhiruo knew that the million-level spirit ring and spirit bone of the deep-sea demon whale king would bring a huge improvement to Xiao Han. But she didn't expect that it would directly send him to the peak Douluo realm. Xiao Han, then you should have obtained more than 4 million level spirit skills, right, Mom? The deep-sea demon whale king actually only practiced for about 300,000 years. It reached the million level by devouring, but it was not its real cultivation. So, I only obtained 2 spirit ring skills and 2 spirit bone skills. Then, Xiao Han introduced the 4 powerful skills to Lin Zhiruo. Xiao Han's 9th soul skills are, Ice Demon Breaking Arrow and Demon Whale Thunder Explosion Arrow. Ice Demon Breaking Arrow is an arrow that combines the extreme ice and the violent power of the demon whale. This arrow is not only powerful and can easily penetrate powerful defenses, but also contains the power of breaking demons, which has a restraining effect on those evil and dark forces. Demon Whale Thunder Explosion Arrow is an arrow that combines the extreme ice and the power of the demon whale's lightning. When it hits the target, it will burst out with the extreme ice power and the violent lightning power. It can be said to be an advanced version of the ice explosion arrow. Xiao Han's torso soul skills are, Demon Whale's Invincible Golden Body and Demon Whale's Death Devouring. Demon Whale's Invincible Golden Body is a defensive soul skill. When performing this soul skill, Xiao Han's body will be wrapped in a layer of golden light. This layer of golden light can withstand physical and energy attacks below the god level. Demon Whale's Death Devouring is a mental attack skill. When performing, Xiao Han can release an invisible void as deep as the abyss, directly attacking the opponent's soul level. When this spiritual fluctuation comes into contact with the enemy's soul, it will instantly stimulate the fear and despair deep in the opponent's heart, causing it to fall into a state of mental trance that is difficult to extricate. In this state, the enemy's combat effectiveness will be greatly reduced, and it may even directly lose the will to fight and be slaughtered. What's more terrifying is that it also has a certain devouring effect. With the help of this skill, Xiao Han can quietly devour part of the opponent's soul power and transform it into his own soul power or mental power. After listening to Xiao Han's explanation, Lin Zhiruo was amazed. Xiao Han, you can actually obtain such a powerful soul skill. However, you must also remember that although power is important, it is more important to use it. Use your power to do the right thing and protect those who need protection. Xiao Han nodded solemnly. Mom, don't worry. I will definitely keep your teachings in mind and use my power to protect this world. Xiao Han knew that although he had stood at the top of Douluo continent, he still had a lot of things to do and many challenges to face. As long as Bibi, Tang and others are not eliminated, the world will not be at peace. Xiao Han turned his head and looked at the body of the deep-sea demon whale king. Although 7 days and 7 nights have passed, the body is still emitting energy. In order to completely absorb its energy, Xiao Han urged his soul power and cast a blue-black ice vortex, completely covering the behemoth and continuing to absorb its energy. Xiao Han did not retract his soul power until it completely disappeared. Mom, my soul ring has completed its transformation again, Xiao Han said, and he could not help but release his martial soul. 9 soul rings of black, 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 red, red, and blue gold unfolded around him one by one, blooming with dazzling light. Chapter 195 Mom's 9th Ring. Looking at the extremely gorgeous soul ring configuration around Xiao Han, Lin Zhiruo's eyes widened instantly, and her breathing became rapid involuntarily. Xiao Han's first soul ring also underwent a transformation and became a 10,000-year soul ring. The last blue-gold soul ring was as dazzling as the sun, emitting a heart-pounding pressure and sacred aura, illuminating the entire sea surface. Xiao Han stood on the sea, his figure wrapped in the light of the soul ring, and an indescribable majesty and sacredness arose spontaneously. His aura was deeper and more powerful than before, like a god descending from heaven. Lin Zhiruo was deeply shocked. Xiao Han, you not only have a million-year soul ring, but even the first soul ring has transformed to the 10,000-year level. It's really powerful. Xiao Han smiled and said, Mom, after absorbing the soul ring of the deep-sea demon whale king, the power of the dragon king was released in my body, prompting the first soul ring to complete its transformation. You haven't rested for several days and nights, take a break now. I will go with you to find a suitable soul beast later, okay, you take a break too. Yeah, Xiao Han drove the sea spirit boat and took Lin Zhiruo out of the demon whale sea. After a short rest, the two continued to search for soul beasts in the sea. This time, their target was a 100,000-year soul beast. After several days of searching, on a sunny afternoon, a strong breath suddenly came from the front, shaking the sea surface slightly. The sea breeze was accompanied by a strong smell of blood. Mom, there's a powerful soul beast ahead, let's go and see. The moment he felt the powerful breath, Xiao Han's fatigue was swept away, replaced by full of fighting spirit and expectation. As they approached, they found that a fierce battle had just taken place in the sea area. A huge deep-sea demon whale was gnawing at the body of a demon soul great white shark. Upon discovering the presence of a human soul master, the deep-sea demon whale turned around, roared, and opened its huge mouth. Sharp water blades spewed out from its open mouth and flew towards Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo. The two of them soared into the air and easily dodged the water blades. Xiao Han smiled. Mom, this deep-sea demon whale has been cultivated for 100,000 years, and it is just right to be used as your 9th soul ring. Okay, let's kill it together. Xiao Han's eyes condensed, and he directly opened the million-year trunk bone, and his whole body was shining with golden light. The demon whale's death devouring was activated. An extremely powerful mental pressure surged out like a tide, directly covering the deep-sea demon whale that was about to attack. Feeling the death breath of the deep-sea demon whale king under the pressure, the deep-sea demon whale's eyes were instantly filled with fear and despair. That was their king. He died in the hands of the young soul master in front of him. The huge body of the deep-sea demon whale trembled involuntarily under the suppression of this force. The attack that was originally ready to launch also came to an abrupt end. There was not even the courage to resist. Mom, now. Xiao Han's voice was calm and firm. His eyes were fixed on the deep-sea demon whale that was suppressed and unable to move, creating a perfect opportunity for Lin Zhiruo to attack. Lin Zhiruo had already been ready. Her figure flashed like a stream of light cutting through the sky, and appeared directly above the deep-sea demon whale. The soul power surged, and a sharp and unparalleled chill burst out from her body, turning into a blue light blade, accurately piercing the vitals of the deep-sea demon whale. With a deafening wail, the huge body of the deep-sea demon whale trembled violently, and finally fell down powerlessly, stirring up huge waves on the sea. Xiao Han suppressed this 100,000-year soul beast so easily that Lin Zhiruo couldn't help but sigh. Xiao Han, thanks to your amazing soul skills, we can deal with this deep-sea demon whale so smoothly. Xiao Han smiled. Mom, this million-year soul skill is different. You adjust your state and prepare to absorb the soul ring. I will protect you, okay? Lin Zhiruo nodded and prepared to absorb the soul ring. A wisp of mist slowly rose from the huge body of the deep-sea demon whale, gradually condensing into a 100,000-year soul ring with red light. Under Xiao Han's protection, Lin Zhiruo began to absorb the soul ring. A layer of golden light was released from Xiao Han's chest, enveloping Lin Zhiruo, providing her with spiritual support and helping her absorb more smoothly. As time passed, Lin Zhiruo's breathing gradually stabilized. While Lin Zhiruo was concentrating on absorbing the 100,000-year soul ring, Xiao Han suddenly felt an unusual soul power fluctuation. The soul power fluctuation was like a sudden gust of wind, approaching quickly, causing the originally calm sea surface to begin to shake. Xiao Han's heart trembled, and he immediately realized that the situation was not good. Lin Zhiruo's safety was his greatest concern, and he had to ensure that she would not be disturbed by any external factors at the critical moment of absorbing the soul ring. Xiao Han's soul power surged in his body, and his figure instantly turned into a stream of light, stopping a few hundred meters away from Lin Zhiruo to ensure that Lin Zhiruo was within his sight. The soul power fluctuation was getting closer and closer, and the sea surface was shaking more and more violently. Xiao Han released the million-year torso again, and his whole body was shining with golden light, trying to use his powerful mental power to intimidate the approaching soul beast. The group of soul beasts really slowed down, but they were still slowly approaching this side. As they got closer and closer, Xiao Han saw that it was a group of demon soul great white sharks. There were many of them, at least 50. Each of them exuded a powerful soul power fluctuation, and they were all adult demon soul great white sharks. On the back of one of the largest demon soul great white sharks, stood a small figure. Although the figure was small, it exuded an extraordinary aura, as if it could control this group of ferocious marine creatures. Xiao Han stared at the figure with a sharp gaze. He guessed that the person might be Xiaobei, the guardian soul beast of the sea god island. The deep-sea demon whale hunted by Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo bit a demon soul great white shark to death. Xiaobei and his tribe came to seek revenge. Feeling the powerful aura of Xiao Han, Xiaobei and the group of demon soul great white sharks did not dare to move forward. Are you Xiaobei from the sea god island? I am Shui Binger's friend. I went to your sea god island more than a year ago. Xiao Han's ethereal voice came from the sky and reached the ears of Xiaobei and the group of demon soul great white sharks. Xiaobei was shocked. The entire sea god island knew that the test that Lord Sea God gave Shui Binger was the Sea God 9 tests. Shui Binger and her group also became VIPs on the sea god island. And the young soul master in front of him turned out to be Shui Binger's friend. Without thinking too much, Xiaobei flew into the air and stopped less than 100 meters away from Xiao Han. Chapter 196 Return to Poseidon Island. Xiaobei had a cold face, and her blue eyes were shining with wisdom. She saw that not far behind Xiao Han, another human soul master was absorbing the soul ring of the deep-sea demon whale. Not far from the body of the deep-sea demon whale, there was also a bloody demon soul great white shark floating. The demon soul great white shark was Xiaobei's tribesman, and half of its body had been eaten. Xiaobei stared at Xiao Han, her eyes full of disbelief. Did you kill the 100,000-year-old deep-sea demon whale? Xiao Han nodded slightly. That's right. Unfortunately, we were a step too late. When I saw it, it was eating the demon soul great white shark. After hearing this, the vigilance in Xiaobei's eyes decreased slightly. I'm Xiaobei, one of the guardians of Sea God Island. But how do you know me? Xiao Han explained. More than a year ago, when Binger and I landed on the island, I heard about you and your tribe, so you are really Miss Binger's friend, of course. Xiao Han looked at Lin Zhiruo behind him, then turned around and continued, I know you hate the deep-sea demon whale that killed your people, but my mother is in an important stage of absorbing spirit rings, and I hope you won't disturb her. After she absorbs the spirit rings, it won't be too late for you to devour the body of the deep-sea demon whale. Xiaobei was stunned for a moment. How do you know we want to devour the body of the deep-sea demon whale? Don't you whale spirit beasts devour each other after killing each other? It's not surprising. Xiao Han knew that the 100,000-year-old deep-sea demon whale was also a great tonic for Xiaobei and those demon spirit great white sharks, and swallowing it would bring them improvement. Although whale brain has extremely high medicinal value, Xiao Han already has the whale brain and whale pearl of the million-year-old deep-sea demon whale king, so the 100,000-year-old whale brain is no longer important. Xiaobei could clearly sense that the young human spirit master in front of him was extremely powerful. May I ask what your name is? My name is Xiao Han. Xiao Han, thank you for avenging my people. Then we will wait until your mother absorbs the spirit ring before swallowing the deep-sea demon whale. Okay, Xiao Han thought of something and asked, by the way, do you know what stage of the divine test Binger and the others are on now? They all passed the first test of Lord Sea God and are challenging the second test. Then can I go to the island to see them? Xiaobei nodded and smiled. Miss Binger is our VIP. You are her friend, so of course you can go to see her. Okay, then please take us to the island. You're welcome. Xiao Han returned to Lin Zhiruo and continued to protect her. Xiaobei and her tribe waited quietly on the side. As time went by, Lin Zhiruo finally absorbed the 100,000-year soul ring. Feeling the changes in herself, a satisfied smile appeared on her face. Xiao Han, I succeeded, Mom, congratulations. Not only have you become a titled Douluo level warrior, You also have a 100,000-year soul ring, child. I have to thank you. Without you, I would not have achieved what I have today. Mom, you are too polite. By the way, quickly absorb this soul bone, Xiao Han said, handing a soul bone to Lin Zhiruo. When you absorb the soul ring, I found this soul bone from the corpse of the deep-sea demon whale. It looks like a right arm bone. Lin Zhiruo took the soul bone, looked at it carefully, and was delighted. Xiao Han smiled and said, Mom, after you fuse this soul bone, we will go to the Sea God Island with a group of demon soul great white sharks to meet Binger and the others. Demon soul great white sharks? Yes, they are over there. Lin Zhiruo followed Xiao Han's gaze and found a group of huge sea soul beasts not far away. Xiao Han explained it to her briefly, and she understood. Then, under Xiao Han's protection, Lin Zhiruo began to fuse the soul bone. It took less than half an hour for Lin Zhiruo to completely fuse the soul bone. Xiao Han was very happy and couldn't wait to ask, Mom, what level of soul power have you reached now? Higher than I thought, just broke through level 93. Level 93, really good. It may be because I absorbed the energy of the deep-sea demon whale king before, and it was fully presented after obtaining the 9th soul ring. Yes, it is possible. After a soul master breaks through level 90, it is extremely difficult to upgrade each level. Moreover, even if there is only one level of soul power between title Douluo, the strength gap is huge. After reaching level 90, it was simply a luxury to be able to level up 3 levels at once. As an extreme spirit master, Lin Zhiruo now had the strength to fight against peak Douluo above level 95. Xiao Bei, you can come over. Hearing Xiao Han's call, Xiao Bei swam over with dozens of magic soul great white sharks. In order to facilitate eating the corpse of the deep-sea magic whale, Xiao Bei also transformed into a magic great white shark. They quickly ate the huge corpse of the deep-sea magic whale clean. Afterwards, Xiao Bei transformed into human form again. Xiao Han, thank you for your gift. I will take you to Poseidon Island now, okay? Thank you for your trouble. Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo each rode a magic soul great white shark, and led by Xiao Bei, headed towards Poseidon Island. It was dusk when they arrived at Poseidon Island. Poseidon Island was illuminated by the setting sun, adding a bit of mystery and solemnity. The setting sun poured down on the sea level like molten gold, dyeing the sky into a gorgeous orange-red color. The sea breeze blew gently, bringing with it the salty fragrance of the seawater and the faint fragrance of flowers and plants in the distance, making people feel relaxed and happy. Occasionally, a few seabirds flew across the sky, leaving behind a series of melodious chirping sounds, adding a bit of vitality to this quiet dusk. On the beach, the soft sand was faintly golden in the sunset. The mountains in the distance cast long shadows in the sunset, like giants guarding the sea area, quiet and majestic. Xiao Bei led Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo slowly into this dreamlike scenery. Admiring the beautiful scenery of Poseidon Island, Lin Zhiruo was in a good mood. Xiao Han, the environment on this island is really good. Indeed, it is peaceful here, without so many disputes in the outside world. When Douluo continent is unified, perhaps such a peaceful scene will appear. I hope so. The two followed Xiao Bei and came to Seahorse City. Xiao Bei arranged accommodation for the two, and then went to find Seahorse Douluo to explain the situation. After more than a year, Seahorse Douluo was surprised to see Xiao Han again and feel the stronger aura from Xiao Han. Mr. Xiao Han, you have become stronger again. Xiao Han smiled and said politely, you are flattering. Is it convenient for you to see Binger and the others now? It's convenient. I have sent someone to notify them. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197 Jinriksu declares war. Soon, Shui Binger and the others came in a hurry. They were all pleasantly surprised to see Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo. Hello, Dean Lin, Xiao Han. Why are you here? Binger spoke first, with a hint of surprise and joy in her voice. The girls quickly gathered around Lin Zhiruo. Xiao Han smiled and looked at everyone, saying, we came to see you and hunt soul beasts. Hunting soul beasts? You broke through level 90. Yes. My mom also broke through level 90. Hearing this, the girls looked at each other and were happy for them. Great. Have you obtained soul rings? Yes. Next, Xiao Han briefly described to everyone how he and Lin Zhiruo hunted soul beasts and obtained soul rings. They were all stunned to learn that Xiao Han killed the million-year-old deep-sea demon whale king and his soul power reached level 96 after absorbing soul rings and soul bones. Level 96? Xiao Han, this improvement is too amazing, Shui Binger exclaimed, with an incredible light in her eyes. Xiao Han is really amazing. The other girls were also shocked, and they all cast envious and admiring eyes. Lin Zhiruo smiled modestly and said, don't just praise him. I also benefited from him, so I was able to break through the 90th level. Several people talked and laughed, and talked about their recent situation. Shui Binger and others passed the first test of the sea god and achieved a considerable improvement. They also learned about the current situation on land from Xiao Han. They didn't expect Bibi Dong to oppose the spirit hall and establish a new spirit hall. Xiao Han talked to Shui Binger alone for a while, and finally reminded her, Binger, I came here mainly to tell you one thing this time. What? At the right time, reveal the news that Tang Chen is dead to Poseidon. Who is Tang Chen? Shui Binger looked puzzled. Xiao Han explained, Tang Chen is Poseidon's sweetheart. Then, Xiao Han told Shui Binger about the relationship between Poseidon, Tang Chen and Jin Douluo. Xiao Han knew that the 9 tests of the sea god was not that simple. The last test was to face the great priest Poseidon. Poseidon would not easily sacrifice himself to fulfill others. However, if she knew that her lover Tang Chen was dead, she might let go of her obsession. Xiao Han knew that Tang Chen was trapped in the killing city by the Azure god, which was no different from being dead. Binger, remember what I told you? Okay, I know. How long will you stay this time? We have to leave tomorrow. The situation on land is tense, and we have to rush back as soon as possible. You also have to seize the time and strive to complete the second test as soon as possible. Yes, although Shui Binger was a little reluctant, she knew that Xiao Han had more important things to do. Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo did not stay on the island for long, and set off the next day. Shui Binger and others reluctantly said goodbye to Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo. They stood on the shore, watching the two people's boats gradually go away until they disappeared in the vast sea. Xiao Han and Lin Zhiruo returned to land. They first returned to Xianshu City together, and then Xiao Han went to Wudi City alone to meet Jin Ringsu. Seeing Xiao Han return safely, Jin Ringsu's face bloomed with a long-lost smile. Xiao Han, you are finally back. Xiao Han smiled and nodded, telling Jin Ringsu about his experience one by one. When she learned that Xiao Han had hunted a million-year-old deep-sea demon whale king and his soul power had increased to level 96, Jin Ringsu's eyes flashed with shock. Million-year-old soul ring, Xiao Han, your strength has far exceeded my imagination, and your chances of winning against Bibi Dong are a little greater. Talking about Bibi Dong, the expressions of both of them could not help but become solemn. The new Wuhan Hall established by Bibi Dong, with its powerful strength and means, has rapidly expanded its power and posed a serious threat to the Wuhan Hall. Jin Ringsu's face suddenly became gloomy. In just a few months, the new Spirit Hall has become the most powerful force in the Xingluo Empire. At this rate, it won't be long before they can catch up with the Spirit Hall. I underestimated Bibi Dong. There are more people supporting her than I thought. We can't wait any longer. Xiao Han nodded, agreeing with Jin Ringsu's opinion. I came here to discuss this matter with you. Now we can take the initiative. The two immediately began to discuss the specific battle plan. This time, their plan was not just to capture a few cities, but to take over the entire Xingluo Empire. Xiao Han knew that Bibi Dong was challenging the Rakshasa god test. Before she became a god, she must be completely destroyed, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. Not long after, Jin Ringsu declared war on the Xingluo Empire again. Bibi Dong was practicing in a dim room. Suddenly, a burst of hurried footsteps broke the silence outside. Did I say that no one can disturb me without my permission, Your Majesty? The latest intelligence is that Jin Ringsu has declared war on the Xingluo Empire again. What? Bibi Dong raised her eyebrows and a cold light flashed in her eyes. She immediately stood up, slowly walked to the window, and suddenly opened the curtains, letting the dazzling sunlight pour into the room, as if to sweep away the haze in her heart. Jin Ringsu, are you unable to hold back so soon? It seems that you have already felt the threat of our new Wuhan Hall. But do you think you can stop me like this? Too naive, Bibi Dong whispered to herself, and then a sneer appeared at the corner of her mouth. Ask Elder Yu to come to the hall to see me. Yes, When Bibi Dong was practicing, all the affairs of the new Wuhan Hall were managed by Yu Xiaogang and Hu Lina. Yu Xiaogang only had theoretical knowledge, and he learned it all in the Wuhan Hall. In fact, he didn't have any real skills, and his own soul power had not exceeded level 30, so he was still a waste in everyone's mind. But he has Bibi Dong's support, and no one dares to say anything. Yu Xiaogang also knows that everyone is talking about him behind his back, saying that he relied on women to get to the top. But he doesn't care. Daimyo Bei is dead, and he is not valued by the Star Luo Emperor. He can only rely on Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong gave him trust and power, allowing him to play freely. He wants to use the power of Bibi Dong and the new Wuhan Hall to take revenge on Xiao Han and Jin Ringsu. Yu Xiaogang walked into the hall slowly. In the empty hall, there was only Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong smiled and said, "Xiaogang, you are here." Yu Xiaogang nodded slightly. "Why did you come out early? Is it because Jin Ringsu declared war on the Star Luo Empire?" "Yes. I feel that Jin Ringsu's offensive this time will definitely be more fierce. I don't know how the Star Luo Emperor should deal with it. I was just thinking about this issue, and I am preparing to go to Star Luo City to listen to their ideas." Chapter 198 Two Ungrateful Wolves. Although the new spirit hall established by Bibi Dong is within the territory of the Xingluo Empire, it is still an independent force. When necessary, it will fight against the Spirit Empire together with the Xingluo Empire to safeguard common interests. As the chief elder of the new Spirit Hall, Yu Xiaogang played the role of a middleman very well. Bibi Dong was a little worried about Yu Xiaogang's safety. "Xiaogang, this is an emergency period. I'll send someone to go with you." "No need. It's not far from Xingluo City. Xiao-san will accompany me." "Okay, you guys pay attention to your safety." In front of Yu Xiaogang, Bibi Dong lost the majesty of the Pope and only had tenderness in her eyes. But Yu Xiaogang has not completely let go of the demise of his family, and always deliberately keeps a distance from Bibi Dong. Yu Xiaogang and Tang San came to Xingluo City together. The atmosphere in Xingluo City was solemn. The Emperor of Xingluo frowned, holding tightly in his hand an urgent report just sent from the front line. Jin Ringsu once again declared war on the Xingluo Empire. In the hall, all the ministers were silent. No one dared to make a sound at this time, for fear of disturbing the Emperor's thinking. "The Wuhan Empire has declared war again. Come on, I will make you pay with blood." The low voice of the Xingluo Emperor echoed in the hall, with endless anger. His eldest son Davis was killed by Xiao Han, and the Crown Prince Daimyo Bei also died in the war. He always wanted to avenge his two sons. He knew that this war was different from the last time, and the power of the Wuhan Empire was more stable. But the Xingluo Empire also became stronger because of the existence of Bibi Dong. At this time, Ning Fengzi stood up. "Emperor, the Seven Treasures Glazed sect is willing to do its best to support the empire in resisting the invasion of the Wuhan Empire." Ning Fengzi's words eased the atmosphere in the hall a little. Emperor Xingluo looked at Ning Fengzi, with a flash of praise in his eyes. "Master Ning, your loyalty and courage will be remembered forever by our Xingluo Empire." Tang Xiao also stood up. "Emperor, the Haoshan sect is also willing to fight. In the previous battle, the Haoshan sect lost several titled Douluo level elders one after another. But the situation is different now. With Bibi Dong and the new Wuhan Hall's power to contain them, Tang Xiao believes that he can avenge his previous shame." Emperor Xingluo nodded with satisfaction. The Kibaoliuli sect and the Haoshan sect are still two powerful sects, and their strength should not be underestimated. With their great help, the resistance of the Xingluo Empire has been greatly improved. However, Emperor Xingluo still has worries in his heart. Not only do he have to fight against the army of the Wuhan Empire, but he also has to be wary of Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong is ambitious, and the power of the new Wuhan Hall is also rising rapidly. He has to guard against hidden arrows from behind. The Star Luo Emperor looked at Yu Xiaogang and asked, "Elder Yu, what are the plans of the new Spirit Hall?" "Your Majesty, we will certainly stand together with the Empire and resist the invasion of the Spirit Empire." "Okay. Send down the order, gather the army immediately and prepare for battle." The entire Star Luo Empire took action quickly. The army was assembled, food and grass were prepared, and a war that concerned the survival of the country was about to begin. On the other side of this continent, the Spirit Empire was also preparing their plans in full swing. That night, Tang San came to find Xiao Wu. "Xiao Wu, we are about to go to the front line. After thinking about it, I think it is better for you and Zhu Qing not to follow." I plan to send you two to the Seven Treasures Glazed sect with Rongrong here. Your safety there will be guaranteed. No. Brother, I want to go to the battlefield with you. Tang San shook his head. The battlefield is too dangerous. There are too many titled Douluo level masters in the Spirit Hall, especially Guangling Douluo and Xiao Han who have long-range attacks. I don't want you to take risks, but you, Tang San took Xiao Wu's hand and smiled. Don't worry, I have the ability to fly, not to mention that this time we have Bibi Dong and a large number of spirit masters. The overall strength of our Xingluo site is much stronger than last time. Maybe we will win. Xiao Wu also wanted to fight side by side with Tang San, but understood Tang San's thoughts and finally compromised. Okay, then you must come back safely. Don't worry, it will be fine. After sending Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing to the Seven Treasures Glazed sect in Xingluo City, Tang San and the main force headed to the front line. 1 month later, as the dawn broke through the dawn, the two huge armies slowly unfolded like a steel torrent, confronting each other under the vast sky. On one side was the elite division of the Xingluo Empire. They stood on the city wall, their armor shining, their battle flags fluttering, and their morale was high. On the other side was the cavalry of the Wuhan Empire, with black robes fluttering and light looming, revealing a solemn and murderous aura that should not be underestimated. The air was filled with a tense and solemn atmosphere, as if even the wind stopped. On the Xingluo Empire side, Yu Gang, Tang Xiao, Ning Fengzi, Jian Douluo and others were the leaders. Yu Gang brought a large number of soul masters from the new Wuhan Hall. On the opposite side, in the Wuhan Empire camp, Jin Ringsu stood in front of the formation in gorgeous armor. Her eyes were cold and arrogant, as if everything was under control. Surrounding her were many titled Daoluos from the Wuhan Hall, including the dreaded Xiao Han. The presence of those strong men made the entire Wuhan Empire's lineup even more intimidating. Jin Ringsu's eyes were like torches, sweeping across the Xingluo Empire's camp, and finally fixed on the position of Yu Gang and the others, with a sneer on the corner of her mouth. Humph, Bibi Dong, that traitor, doesn't have the courage to come here in person? Is she hiding in some dark corner again, preparing to launch another despicable sneak attack when we are not prepared? Jin Ringsu knew that if Yu Gang appeared on the front line again, Bibi Dong would definitely follow him, because she would not let Yu Gang fall into danger. The powerful aura on Xiao Han surged towards the Xingluo Empire camp like a tide. Bibi Dong, Yu Gang, you two ungrateful bastards, the Spirit Hall trained you, but you betrayed the Spirit Hall. Even if you set up a new Spirit Hall, what does it matter? After all, it can't change the pace of the Spirit Empire's unification of the continent. Yu Gang was furious at being mercilessly mocked. He tried to restrain his anger and tried his best to stay calm. Jin Ringsu, Xiao Han. You keep saying that Bibi Dong and I are traitors, but you know better than anyone why we have come to this point. The ambition and atrocities of the Spirit Empire are the root cause of all this. Today, our Xingluo Empire and the new Spirit Hall have joined forces to stop your ambitions and protect the peace of this continent. Ning Fengzi also stood up. Jin Ringsu, although you are the heir of the Spirit Empire, your actions go against the original intention of the establishment of the Spirit Hall. Our Seven Treasures Glazed sect has always put justice first. Today, we will fight against evil to the end. Chapter 199 Bibi Dong, anyone who insults Xiaogang will die. Friends, I'm sorry, I was delayed by something in the past 2 days. Now I'm updating normally. Thank you for your support. Seeing Ning Fengzi stand up and shout, Jin Ringsu retorted mercilessly, Ning Fengzi, have you forgotten how you escaped in a mess last time so quickly? This time, I won't let you go easily. Jin Ringsu hit Ning Fengzi's sore spot. Ning Fengzi, who has always been calm and composed, was no longer calm at this moment. Jin Ringsu, do you think you can still win easily this time? The departure of Pope Bibi Dong has greatly damaged the strength of your Wuhan Hall, and it is no longer what it used to be. Really? Bibi Dong took away just a group of rabble. Since she is so powerful, why is she hiding and not daring to come out? Jin Ringsu's words left Ning Fengzi speechless. The momentum of both sides reached its peak at this moment, and the battle was about to break out. At this moment, the sky suddenly dimmed and dark clouds gathered. A purple lightning flashed across the sky. Then, a familiar figure slowly descended from the sky. It was Bibi Dong. She was full of vigor and her eyes flashed with contempt. Jin Ringsu, Xiao Han, and you old guys who don't know your own strength, do you really think that I, Bibi Dong, will be afraid of you? Bibi Dong's cold voice filled the entire battlefield, and she was intimidating without anger. Her appearance made the atmosphere on the battlefield even more tense. Facing Bibi Dong's sudden appearance, Jin Rongsu's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise, but it was quickly replaced by anger. Bibi Dong, the Spirit Hall gave you supreme glory and status, but you betrayed it. Not only did you set up the so-called new Spirit Hall, but you also helped our enemy, the Xingluo Empire, to fight against us. Your behavior is that of a complete traitor. After hearing this, Bibi Dong's mouth curled up into a disdainful sneer. Jin Rongsu, the Spirit Hall you mentioned is nothing but a cruel cage that imprisoned me in darkness and deprived me of my freedom. It destroyed me and made me lose so much. Everything I built with so much hardship, including the new Spirit Hall now, was to escape from that shackle, to regain the freedom and dignity I once lost. And you, and the so-called orthodoxy behind you, are nothing but executioners who are pressing me step by step and pushing me into despair. I finally led the Spirit Hall to its current height, but you took it away effortlessly, just because you have the blood of the six-winged angel. Faced with such injustice, how could I be willing? For those who support me, of course I have to build a new Spirit Hall, and I want to take back everything that should belong to me. Bibi Dong's words were full of determination and unwillingness. Her murderous eyes swept between Jin Rongsu and the people present, as if to burn all the injustice and anger out. Yu Gang, Tang Sen, Tang Xiao, Ning Fengzi, and Jian Douluo looked at each other, all smiling. Compared to the last confrontation with the Spirit Master Army led by Jin Rongsu, this time with the addition of Bibi Dong and the new Spirit Hall, the overall strength of the Silla side has been greatly improved, and everyone has more confidence. Jin Rongsu's eyes were as cold as frost, and she warned Bibi Dong and her subordinates, Bibi Dong, do you think that with a new Spirit Hall you can rewrite your destiny? Don't forget that your foundation and your strength originally came from the Spirit Hall. Since you have chosen to oppose the Spirit Hall, you are the enemy of the Spirit Hall. No matter what you have done for the Spirit Hall in the past, the Spirit Hall will ruthlessly eliminate you, because we cannot tolerate traitors. Bibi Dong heard this, and a hint of mockery appeared on her face. Jin Rongsu, you are so arrogant. Without me, the strength of the Spirit Hall has been greatly damaged, and this is an indisputable fact. Today, let me kill these old guys with my own hands, and let the world see that the destruction of the Spirit Hall is the day when the new Spirit Hall led by me will rise. Your so-called orthodoxy is nothing but a bunch of corrupt people who can't stand a single blow. After hearing this, Guangling Douluo, Jiangmo Douluo and others were all furious. Guangling Douluo said, Bibi Dong, you ungrateful bastard, if it weren't for the nods from us old guys, how could you have ascended to the position of Pope? You threw away everything for a loser Yu Gang and went against the Spirit Hall. A woman as stupid as you is not fit to be Pope. Now you are still the Pope, and you have achieved your wish by keeping the loser Yu Gang by your side as the chief elder. What real ability can a loser who has studied in the Spirit Hall for many years, but in the end uses the knowledge he has learned to deal with the Spirit Hall, and can only rely on women to get to the top have? After hearing Guangling Douluo's ridicule, Jiangmo Douluo and Qianjin Douluo all laughed. Yu Gang's eyes were firm, but his face gradually became ugly. Shut up. Bibi Dong's face was instantly gloomy, and her eyes were burning with anger. She hated others looking down on her sweetheart Yu Gang the most, and she had vowed in her heart to kill all those who humiliated Yu Gang. Guangling, you dare to insult me with words, today I will make you pay the price. Before the voice fell, a powerful soul wave surged around Bibi Dong, releasing the Death Spider Emperor's martial spirit. After the martial spirit possessed Bibi Dong, she looked like a huge poisonous spider. The skin on her upper body was covered with a layer of purple-black armor, and her face was also covered by a shell. Under the eyes of the Death Spider Emperor, there were 4 small eyes. The legs disappeared, and the area below the abdomen turned into a huge round sphere. 8 thick long legs stretched out from the round abdomen, covered with large green hair and disgusting mucus. 9 soul rings of yellow, purple, black, and red unfolded around her body in turn. Bibi Dong's momentum reached its peak at this moment. Among the 9 soul rings surrounding her body, the bright blood-colored 100,000-year soul ring was particularly eye-catching. That 100,000-year soul ring represents Bibi Dong's powerful strength and gives people an invisible deterrent. Bibi Dong rarely shows her martial soul and soul ring in front of others. The atmosphere on the battlefield solidified a little because of the appearance of the Death Spider Emperor and the 100,000-year soul ring. Bibi Dong's eyes flashed with a dark light. She was no longer the noble and cold Pope, but the queen of the underworld who controlled life and death. A strong breath of death emanated from her body. This breath contained endless darkness and decay, as if it could devour all vitality, making the Soul Masters present feel palpitations involuntarily. Even a peak Douluo as strong as Guangling Douluo, when facing the breath of death released by Bibi Dong, his face changed slightly, and a chill rose in his heart. Today, let you see my strength. Chapter 200 Million Year Spirit Ring. Bibi Dong's voice was deep and powerful, and every word seemed to come from the abyss, with irresistible majesty. As soon as the voice fell, the soul power fluctuations around her became stronger. A suffocating tense atmosphere spread. Seeing this, Guangling Douluo's eyes flashed with a trace of determination, and he released his Guangling Divine Bow without hesitation. The Guangling Divine Bow in his hand exuded a bright light, like the first light of dawn, which formed a sharp contrast with the dark aura on Bibi Dong. Jiangmo Douluo and Qianjin Douluo also felt Bibi Dong's powerful momentum. The two brothers looked at each other and released their respective martial spirits, panlong sticks, without saying anything. On the Xingluo Empire side, Tang Xiao, Jian Douluo, and Ning Fengzi saw that Bibi Dong was ready to go, and they did not hesitate to release their martial spirits and spirit rings, ready to fight with Bibi Dong. The momentum of the Soul Masters on both sides reached an unprecedented height at this moment, and the battle was about to break out. Just when the atmosphere was so tense that it was suffocating, a dazzling ice blue light suddenly burst out from Xiao Han's body. Like the first ray of dawn, it instantly illuminated the entire battlefield, causing the original extremely depressing sky to change color. Xiao Han was quietly floating above the battlefield at this moment, surrounded by a layer of faint cold air. His figure became the absolute focus of this world, and everyone's eyes were attracted to him involuntarily. As Xiao Han slowly raised his arm, an unprecedented strong chill surged out of his body. This chill not only made the surrounding air solidify instantly, but even time seemed to slow down at this moment. Then, a Zhenbing bow and arrow condensed from extreme ice appeared in Xiao Han's hand. It was flowing with a faint blue light, as if it could freeze all living things in the world, and contained a heart-pounding icy power. Seeing this, Tang San, Yu Zhigang and others couldn't help but feel a strong shock in their hearts. They felt that compared with the last time, Xiao Han's strength had become stronger. Moreover, it was so powerful that it was unimaginable. The next scene made everyone present dumbfounded. As Xiao Han's martial spirit fully appeared, 9 spirit rings surrounded him one by one. Black, 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 black. The 6 10,000-year spirit rings exuded a calm and deep aura. The 200,000-year spirit rings, as red as blood and flames, were like blazing flames, which made people feel terrified. And the blue-gold spirit ring that appeared last, the golden light bloomed, dazzling, like the scorching sun in the sky, dyeing the entire battlefield with a layer of golden brilliance. The light was so strong that people could not look directly at it. As soon as the blue-gold spirit ring appeared, the air of the entire battlefield seemed to be solidified by this power. Everyone's breathing involuntarily stopped for a moment. They had never seen such a terrifying spirit ring configuration, let alone thought that someone could have such a heaven-defying power. Although Yu Zhigang, Tang San and others had already had a premonition in their hearts, when they saw this scene with their own eyes, they still couldn't help but show an expression of disbelief on their faces. They knew that Xiao Han was making progress. But no one expected that Xiao Han could break through the 90th level in such a short time and even obtain the legendary million-year soul ring. That is, a million-year soul ring. Bibi Dong's eyes flashed with disbelief. Even a strong person like her had never thought that Xiao Han could have such an amazing soul ring configuration. This was beyond her imagination. Tang Xiao, Jian Douluo Chenzhen, Ning Fengzi and others were also stunned. As the top strong people on the continent, they naturally knew the importance of soul rings and what a million-year soul ring meant. However, they never thought that Xiao Han could release such a terrifying soul ring configuration. This was simply a miracle. Not only the Xingluo Empire, but also the Soul Masters and soldiers of the Wuhan Empire were shocked by Xiao Han's amazing soul ring configuration. The first soul ring reached the 10,000-year level. All soul rings are over 10,000 years. Not only does he have 200,000-year soul rings, but he also has a million-year soul ring. This means that Xiao Han has hunted at least 1 million-year soul beast. What a terrifying existence. Jin Ringsu already knew that Xiao Han had a million-year spirit ring. She was deeply shocked when she saw Xiao Han release the spirit ring. Jin Ringsu also knew that Bibi Dong might participate in this war. However, she believed that Xiao Han could defeat Bibi Dong. Therefore, not many strong men were sent to attack the Xingluo Empire this time. In addition to Xiao Han, there were Guangling Douluo, Jiangmo Douluo, Qianjin Douluo, and 2 title Douluo level guards, Snake Spear and Thorny Pig. Those title Douluo level strong men were shocked when they saw the heaven-defying spirit ring configuration on Xiao Han. Guangling Douluo had already released the Guangling Divine Bow. The Guangling Divine Bow also released a blue-gold light, but it seemed much dimmer than Xiao Han's million-year spirit ring. Jiangmo Douluo, who is always arrogant, looked at Xiao Han with a little more awe. With the release of Xiao Han's martial spirit and 9 spirit rings, the entire battlefield seemed to solidify a little. Both sides were ready to launch an offensive, but no one acted rashly at this moment. Even the arrogant Bibi Dong chose to be patient temporarily. Bibi Dong had heard of Xiao Han's powerful spirit skills, but had never fought with Xiao Han. In a contest between strong men, it is often not to take the initiative, but to wait for the right time to attack, find flaws in the opponent's moves, and give a fatal blow. Seeing this, Tang San clenched his fists and looked at Xiao Han with jealousy. He was indignant in his heart and asked his soul again, "Damn it! Xiao Han, why have you become so strong? Why is it you who got to the yin-yang eye of ice and fire first, not me? If I could get the fiery apricot and the 8-angled mysterious ice grass, how could I be suppressed by you everywhere? Why? Why did all this good luck fall on your head?" Tang San's jealousy and unwillingness surged like a tide, quickly drowning him. But he also knew in his heart that jealousy could not change the status quo, and only strength could decide everything. He took a deep breath and tried to calm himself. He knew that in this upcoming war, he had to save his life first, so that he could have revenge on Xiao Han in the future. At this time, Xiao Han was suspended in the air, and his handing bow and arrow in his hand emitted a frightening cold light. He slowly scanned the enemy army, and finally his eyes met with Bibi Dong. In the silent confrontation, the wills of the 2 top masters collided in the air, and Bibi Dong couldn't help but tremble. "Bibi Dong, your ambition will be ended by me." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.